What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Rewind Room, the nostalgic podcast where we take a little bit of a rewind into the past and we look at some of those things that maybe were memorable from our childhood, from our adolescence, and just memorable from the things that not only we grew up with, but the things and experiences we had as youngsters and as teenagers, and even now as adults. We're making memories right now. We are happy to have you all joining us. My name is Jon, and with me is my amazing friend and amazing co-host, Ramona. How are you doing?
Oh man, Jon, I'm doing great. It's a fantastic Wednesday. We're
Is it
on what?
Wednesday?
I think so. I think
Wow.
so.
Oh, it is Wednesday. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, it's a great day and couldn't ask for a better day since we're recording. It's one of my favorite days of the month for sure.
It's kind of sad that we have to wait a month to do these. Like, there's times I just really wish that we could just end up, recording episodes like every week or something. We'll get there for sure, probably. But, as
Yeah.
many of you know, if you've been listening to us from season one, we definitely have been a little bit, in the know because, we both still have jobs, we both still work. But yeah, at the same time, we like to carve some time out in order to record these episodes because we love sharing our info, our knowledge, and moreover, we love the conversation. We're here for it, and it's amazing.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So today's episode is going to be a very interesting one and one that for sure holds a lot of nostalgia and a lot of just overall good vibes for me. And that is the classic era of YouTube. Now, if you're wondering what exactly we're talking about, because you're probably looking at me going, Jon, what do you mean? YouTube still exists. Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber of all time. Yeah, 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 yeah. I hear you guys. Trust me. I hear you all. But there was an era of YouTube, especially back in the early 2000s, in the era that me and Ramona grew up with, where YouTube was a very, very different landscape. It was a place where you could just kind of go to escape from the world and you could watch just some funny videos. You could watch sketches. You could watch different, just random types of videos. They had music videos and it was a very heavy communal experience. So, my friend, really quick, before we go ahead and start diving into the episode, I just have to ask you, how much did you grow up on YouTube? Like, how much of your past was based kind of on YouTube when YouTube actually started coming around in around like 2005, 2006?
So 2005, 2006, I didn't really know how to navigate the family computer.
It's all good. I didn't
Um,
either.
So I actually didn't hop on the YouTube train until about, I would say I was about sixth grade. So whenever Charlie the Unicorn came out, so that probably was like 2007.
Oh, Charlie! I forgot about Charlie the Unicorn. That's right. That was around 2007. Candy Mountain.
Candy Mountain.
We
Yeah,
found the
literally.
map to Candy Mountain, Charlie. Yeah, that's
So that was my first introduction
okay.
to it. But right after that, right after I found out what YouTube was and what you could do, because prior to that, you really had to go to like MSN.com videos, Bing videos, Google videos in order to see short form videos like you would see in the advent of YouTube. But after I found out that YouTube was basically all that compiled into one site, oh man, let me tell you, the second I woke up, watched it in between classes, watched it when I got home, watched it before bed. And I've been doing that to this day since then, too. So, since about 2007 to now, I've been doing that. It's a huge, huge part of my life, which is ironic because later in the episode, I'm going to basically give a warning to everybody about having YouTube consume you. But yes, it's been a part of my life since 2007, and I don't ever see it dying down. What about you, Jon?
Wow, you must really be addicted to YouTube if you have to give a warning about how consuming it is. Of course I'm but to answer your question, I think the first time I ever hopped on YouTube was I was looking for music. And the thing was back in
Okay.
the day, this is before iTunes. This is
Mm,
before long before Spotify. This is long before all of that kind of stuff. As you know, probably the thing is that when you do stuff like this, when you watch YouTube videos and stuff like that, it was one of those things that it was more so I was looking for something specific, if that makes sense. So like oftentimes I'd have to go to places like Rhapsody. I don't know if you remember Rhapsody.
I remember
Yeah,
Rhapsody.
Rhapsodies and a lot of places like that if you wanted to find free music. Otherwise,
LimeWire.
LimeWire, Napster, you had to go to a
Oh
lot of
man.
those places. Um in order to really find what you were looking for. But then all of a sudden, then my mom pulls up a video of the U2 song "Stuck in the" not "Stuck in the Middle." What is it? "Stuck in a Moment." That's what it is. "Stuck in the Middle" is a very different song, but anyhow, she pulled up the music video, and I was able to actually have a place where I could actually just listen to music just like that, and it was YouTube,
Mm,
and I remember YouTube just being kind of a big hub for that. And then as I started to go more and more into it, that's when I started to discover, the sketches, the funny videos, the iconic videos, Charlie Bit My Finger, stuff like
yep.
that,
Yep.
and then that's kind of where it kind of led and has kind of just ever been since. And I feel like, as I've kind of moved on with the YouTube thing, the more and more I just have kind of continued in some of the same trends, but of course it's
Mm.
evolved as well as YouTube has evolved. So
Yes, yes.
definitely an interesting experience for sure.
Yeah. Still is to this day because it's
Oh, it is.
changing all the time.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And YouTube is kind of rebranding. It's kind of,
Yeah.
it's in a whole different state now than it was
Yeah.
then. Then it was more just a way just to have fun and just to post some fun videos. Now there's people who can make millions doing YouTube if they
Oh
have the
yeah.
right support and the right groups. And the next thing you
And the
know,
time for it
and the
too,
time
making a
for it, yeah.
video. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize how much time it actually takes to make a YouTube video. It looks so easy because it looks like something like us right now. You prop up a
Mhm.
camera and you just go ahead and hit record. And some people do that. But if you want a really good product, you don't realize the amount of time and effort that goes into making a video like that. It's
Yeah.
exhausting and time consuming.
Yeah, and if you start reaching like the hundreds of thousands to millions, chances are that YouTuber has an editor or has a team of editors
Oh
working for
yeah.
them too,
Well, they
you
have
know.
to. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean
it's
that's
hard.
that's how you get videos out sometimes
Hmm.
every week.
Yeah,
And
or
and
every other day or every few days.
every other day, every few days. It just really depends on the kind of content you have. And next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're filming a month in advance. So that means like, you're filming videos that are going to come out in like a month from now. And
Yeah.
then you're staying on schedule or sometimes even a year from now.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
so yeah, but no, it's a commitment, it's something you'd have to
it
commit
is.
to. But at the end of the day, the thing with YouTube and the old era was that was just a way you could just get away from the world and just have a little bit of fun. And I think that was
Yeah,
probably the most nostalgic um
for sure.
part of that. And I think the most interesting appeal when it comes to a site like YouTube is, for the longest time, when think of it this way, YouTube was one of the very first places that like tutorials started.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
video tutorials where they showed you how to do something or how to put something together. You're gonna laugh at me when you hear this. This is how old I am, folks. Like this is embarrassing. Like I was surprised I had to do this. Back in the day when we had Netflix and we mailed in DVDs, I had to watch a video on how to properly mail a Netflix DVD back to
I
Netflix.
I would have done the same thing if I did that service, but as you know, I was late to the game on Netflix.
Yeah.
And YouTube tutorials teach you from the most basic skills to even how to freaking change a car engine or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like to this day you can rely on YouTube for learning and growth. I mean, that's one of the main reasons I learned how to do certain recipes and stuff like that. It's such a great place to not only learn but also showcase what you have to teach people.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a beautiful appeal because I feel like before YouTube came along, you either had to read an instruction manual that had a few
Yeah,
diagrams, and I'm not saying instruction manuals aren't important. You should always read instruction manuals when you're putting something together, for sure. But the thing is that some of us are not textual learners. Some of us are visual learners, and it's
that's me
much
for sure.
and same likewise. And it's easier for me to see somebody actually doing something to understand and learn how to do it rather than reading
Yes.
and saying, okay, put this on top of the head washer. what the hell does that mean, you
Yeah.
know? You know, and stuff like that. I mean, like, yeah, it's basic directions, of course, I can follow, you know, and
Yeah,
eventually I'll figure it out. But if
for
you
sure.
really want me to figure it out fast, it's like pull up a video on YouTube. Let me see how he's doing it. Oh, this is how it's done. Okay.
Exactly.
And then 2 seconds, I'm
Exactly.
done, you know? And
Yep.
I think that was one of the beautiful things that YouTube really kind of gave us was the fact of the matter that you didn't always have to worry about having to read instructions. Sometimes all you had to do was just search on YouTube how to put together said Lego set. And there's
Hmm.
like, and again, back in the day, YouTube did not allow these hour-long videos, so you might
Hmm.
have like, this is how you build the Star Wars um Death Star Lego set part
Hmm.
one, and then there's like a
Yeah.
whole series of them, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. It was
And
definitely, and that's a really great way of describing it, sort of like the Wild West. You didn't really know what you were going to get
yeah, it
into.
really was.
You didn't know, like, you could go in for tutorials, but I mean, heck, going back to one of our earlier videos, I mentioned that my first search on YouTube was drunk monkeys.
Oh my
And
God.
the fact that that was only 2 years worth of YouTube and I could find a video of a monkey drinking a margarita. That was huge. And
Wait,
now you can't even you can't even think of something that isn't found on YouTube, like because everything is found on YouTube.
wait. Back up a sec. When you said monkey drinking a margarita, like legit, like drinking margarita, like actually monkey drinking alcohol, like somebody feeding a monkey alcohol.
Yes, yes. Well, I don't know if it was a margarita. It was a
Oh my,
cocktail of some sort.
oh
And
my God. Well, like it was real. It wasn't like edited in any way.
well, unless it was edited very, very well in 2007, I wouldn't know how.
Oh
Because
my.
So my mom was sitting right next to me, and she didn't know what
Okay.
YouTube was. I didn't know what YouTube was,
Sure,
but
sure, sure.
all I had heard in that day of school was go look up Charlie the Unicorn. Go look up Charlie the Unicorn. So I was like, okay, well, I have to do a test run of YouTube to see what this is all about. So I typed in, the first thing I thought of was drunk monkeys,
Yeah.
and it is a vacation video of a woman. They must have been in like a cabana or something like that, and a monkey came up to them and started sipping on the cocktail that she had on the little table.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, hold on. I gotta look this up now. I gotta see
yeah.
if
See if it's still up.
Well, is it a National Geographic video? Do you know by
Uh,
chance?
no, it was done on like a family camcorder. I think the video was like maybe 1 to 3 minutes ish. Um, the quality was not great. I don't remember if it had any music.
That's literally all it's called, just drunk monkeys.
That's what I looked up. Drunk monkeys.
I don't believe I'm actually
Monkeys have a
looking at
drinking
this.
habit.
You might
Oh
want to
my God!
here. Let me see if it's
I
still
don't
on.
know if this is it, but this is what I got when I looked. It's in a short form now, but I think this might be something different. But it's a monkey. Lady's literally laying there, and he came and took part of her margarita.
It could be something like that. I thought it was like a cabana. My memory could
Maybe.
be not serving me well, but
Shoot,
it
can
was
we even
basically that.
can we show this even?
Oh man,
I
as
don't know.
long
Did I
as
just get us? Did I just get us banned?
so long as the monkey is not underage.
Okay, fair enough. As long as the monkey's not rich. Okay, originally when you described that to me, this is the image I had in my head. I
Okay.
thought maybe it was some like lively crap that like somebody was like, here, oh, he's drinking the cocktail, and they were doing something like that. I thought it was something
Oh
to that
man.
effect. Okay, that's
No,
very different.
that's yeah, ethically I would probably would not have clicked on that, but
Well, I don't know. I mean, at that
yeah.
age, when you're curious, you don't know what you're capable of at
Well,
times.
speaking of also, when we were that age, YouTube was just completely unhinged to where like
It was.
if you were our age, I'm surprised a lot of parents just let us, go on the search engine ourselves because you could find a range of videos. You could find funny videos, like I said, the drunk monkeys. You could do tutorials, like John you mentioned, but you could
Yeah.
also find some graphic, horrible violence on
Oh
YouTube
yeah.
because it wasn't copywritten and they didn't have the guidelines that they have currently to
And
this
the
day.
funny.
So
Mhm.
you could find literally virtually anything from the worst of the worst to, I mean, the most innocent things.
That's absolutely true. And the thing is, even though YouTube had this thing where it's like, oh, you can flag videos, how many of us actually went and flagged a video like that? And how many people were actually taking part? It's like back in the day, I think the reason so much got away is because they left kind of all that in our hands. Now they took it back
Yeah.
into their hands is the thing.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I think that was one of the biggest factors of why really back in the day, even though they had the guidelines like you can't upload sexual content, you can't upload
Yeah.
violence, people still did and got away with
People
it
still
because I
did.
feel like it was more on the honor system of like, yo, let
Hmm.
us know if you see something like this.
Yeah.
And if you did, yeah, oftentimes it would get banned, taken down, all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
oftentimes also, because they relied so much on that, I feel like that's how so many people slipped through because a lot of people who
Hmm.
were seeking that content out obviously are not going to flag it. That's what
No,
they want to watch.
exactly. And
And
then people who don't want to watch it won't click on the video to begin with.
exactly. So I think that's why now they really take it into effect. Now there's a whole tier where when you upload a video, you have to say if your video is made for kids or not.
Yeah.
And obviously, even though a lot of my content and our content is not graphic, obviously we put it's not for kids because then you lose out on a lot of big things like
Hmm.
you lose the comment section if it's for kids, which I think
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on that, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, but there's a lot of those kind of walls now. But yeah, no, I
Hmm.
remember back in the day you could find so much stuff. I remember I'm trying to think of the most shocking thing I've seen on YouTube. I think the closest thing I remember was well, YouTube is also a place where I saw a lot of movies that I probably
Hmm.
shouldn't have been watching at that age. So
Same.
that's how I got exposed. That's how I got exposed to some of my favorite filmmakers. That's how I saw I'm gonna say it right now. I'm sorry, mom, but that's how I saw American Psycho when I was, I think, like 11. No, I think I was 12 or 13 with that one. But I saw the Departed. I saw Phantom of the Opera with Freddy Krueger. I saw a lot of these movies I should have been watching. And here I am thinking, how are they allowing this on here? And I forget
Yeah.
that. I'm just like, holy mackerel. Hellraiser was even on there. I remember. That's how I saw that for the first time as well. Was on
Well,
YouTube.
shout out to everyone who watched Sleepaway Camp for the first time on YouTube and were shocked at that
Oh,
last scene. Oh man.
oh yes, I remember. Because Sleepaway Camp is that a public domain movie now, or?
I don't think so.
Okay, but either way, you could get away with it back in the day of YouTube.
Yeah.
And no, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, no, that's wild. It's like you watch Sleepaway Camp, you get to the end, and you're just like, okay,
I did not need to see that. Yeah, no, exactly.
yeah,
And then, but the fact that you were able to see something like that, like for those of you who aren't familiar with the end of Sleepaway Camp, there's a scene of male anatomy, and
yes,
as a young kid, seeing that at the age of like 10, 11, 12 on YouTube, fully uncensored, you can't even think about that to this day. Like you can't have any sort of nudity on YouTube.
absolutely. And I didn't even actually know that because I didn't even know Sleepaway Camp was on YouTube because I didn't watch Sleepaway Camp I think until I
Mm,
was like 18, 19, like when I was starting to get ready to go to college. But
yeah.
but yeah, no, I think the only horror movie I watched on YouTube back, well, obviously I mentioned Hellraiser, I mentioned Freddy Krueger Phantom of the Opera, but I think the only other big horror movie of the era that I saw on YouTube was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. And that's where I grew my love for horror right there.
Okay. I didn't watch the original on YouTube. That one I had the DVD of. The
Okay.
first Texas Chainsaw I saw on YouTube in the parts was
Yeah.
the one produced by Michael Bay in 2003.
Oh,
Um
yeah, the remake.
yeah, the remake with Jessica Biel and a couple of other
Right,
people.
right, right. Yeah.
Um and then I actually was able to I was one of the only people I knew in like my middle school and high school who had access to the It miniseries, the 1980s
Oh, the
Stephen
Tim
King.
Curry version.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
I watched it in its entirety through the parts on YouTube, and I was under the impression that it was just like a 3.5, 4-hour movie, but
Hmm.
in all actuality, it was a mini series. But on YouTube, because it's divided into parts, you can't really tell. So
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. In fact, YouTube is where I got exposed to some of my favorite directors. Quentin Tarantino. First movie I saw of his on YouTube was Kill Bill Volume One,
oh,
and
really? My
yeah,
parents rented that one. I was able to see that one with
yeah,
them.
and that's actually where my love for Quentin and his work came from. Same with Paul Thomas Anderson. That's where I first saw Boogie Nights.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, and
oh,
and
yeah.
keep in mind, by the time I saw Boogie Nights, I think I was like 15, 16.
Well,
And
yeah,
that
and
was
that one shows extreme male anatomy too.
far Boogie Nights is far worse.
Mhm.
than some of
Oh
the other
yeah.
stuff we've mentioned. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah. So again, like I said, that's how I was accessing this kind of stuff because there's no way my folks would have ever let me watch Boogie Nights as a teenager.
But like as a
Um,
parent, you're not assuming, oh well, all of this is available on
yeah.
YouTube. You don't assume that your kid's gonna go down a rabbit hole of something that they probably shouldn't be watching because also as adults, you're like, well, who would create a platform like that? Well,
Yeah, right,
people looking for
exactly.
money
Yeah, and so,
for
but that's how I got
money.
exposed to some of these filmmakers, you know. But no, that was probably one of the that was probably one of the most fun parts when it kind of comes to that, you know, and really kind of looking at, you know, even I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember when this is kind of the transition period between the modern era of YouTube we have now and kind of the old era was when the YouTube partnership program started for like the big creators, you know?
I do remember that. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
remember
And I'm
that.
talking like big creators. And the reason I bring that up is because, you know, that's when you start getting creators like Smosh. That's when
Yeah,
you start getting creators like Ryan Higa. That's when you start getting creators, you know, PewDiePie, people like that. And the next thing you know, they're growing so big that the
yeah,
next thing you know that YouTube's actually allowing them to get paid
yeah, yeah, yeah,
to do their stuff. And
yeah.
that was a dream, and it still kind of is. But
Yeah, me too.
I feel like back then, I don't know about you, it felt like a real kind of big achievement because you had to be invited at that time. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, that and then also you get the play button too. So like there were a lot of perks that made it, made it a goal for a lot of small time YouTubers or people who were wanting to get into YouTube. They YouTube took care of their content creators. I don't know if they still do, but they used to, and you could show for it. You had something to show for it physically too.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like now the thing is that, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I think it's great in a lot of regards, but I also do kind of see where it kind of replaces that. Now it kind of feels like as long as you can pull in views and especially with ads now, you know, because that's where a lot of money making on
Mm,
YouTube comes in with ads
yeah.
is that you kind of now, as long as you can do those two things, you can really just start making money doing YouTube.
That's where my problem with YouTube started to arise, just
Hmm.
because it felt like content creators started creating mediocre videos and scripts just to
Hmm.
appease certain brands and sponsors. And then it sort of made censorship even more profitable.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it made a video that was once a form of either entertainment or relaxation or whatever into a just long-winded commercial. And
Yeah.
for me, that broke the fourth wall. And it reminded me, like, oh, yeah, I'm constantly being sold something. Like,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, I'm watching my favorite YouTube video, but they just pulled out, uh, let's just say, a paper towel. And they're like, oh, use Bounty, blah, 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 to clean up my messes. Or like, oh, I use this Calm app to go to sleep, things like that, and it breaks character to the point where it sort of turns me off from it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get you for sure. Especially getting midway through a video only to see that they're advertising. Now they're advertising things like credit cards, tech, and
Yeah,
stuff like that just so they can make a buck. And I feel like the other thing too is I'm not saying you don't have to work hard. You absolutely have to work hard to become a big YouTuber. There's no
yeah,
question about that. But I feel like now it's basically like I see a lot of YouTubers now who aren't even close to the $1 million marker and they're still pulling in a lot of money just because they made some
just from
trendy
ads.
content from ads. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's the thing. And that's also kind of where that gets me. Whereas I feel like back then, like I said, it felt like a real achievement. Like you actually
yeah,
had to be like on brand. You had to be a YouTuber like I said, Smosh, Ryan Higa, Young Turks, Fred. You had to be big like
yeah,
those guys, you know,
yeah.
in order and the thing is too, even if you were big, you still had to get invited. It wasn't still like, oh, you're a big channel, you automatically get this. It's like, oh, you're big, we think you'd be great for this program. Want to
No,
join?
yeah. Like I would watch some back when I was into it, like true crime, uh
Right.
just I was an avid fan of ASMR. I'm going to talk about that later,
Sure, sure.
but I'm not going to define that until later. But in that category, they had also some like true crime storytelling. And, you know, they set the mood. It's very dark, very grim, very violent, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Then halfway through, by the way, guys, if you want to buy the Ridge wallet, I highly recommend, blah, blah,
Oh, I
blah, blah.
know.
And then back to our content. He died. Do you know what
Mhm.
I mean? And it just takes
Yeah.
away
And it's
from,
and it's not even an actual ad like for something like Wells Fargo or Downy detergent or anything like that.
yeah,
It's literally the YouTuber themselves
yeah,
giving the ad. It's literally
yeah,
them saying saying, like, so today I bought this big mystery box, and before we open it, I want to talk about today's sponsor, which is
yep,
Ned. Ned know we're whatever we're advertising, and then they go on this whole tangent for like a whole minute. And
yep,
then you're
yep,
just trying to go through and you're just like, okay, where does it end? Where does it end? Where does it end? I
yep.
get it. You got to make a buck, but where does it end?
Hmm. And that's if you have the sponsor uh write part of the script for that content creator. Sometimes
Yes.
the content creator just slaps on a regular ad in the middle of something, and then you know you're listening to something intently, and next thing you know is music for NordVPN, and it's like a legitimate commercial, and that also takes you away from the video too, if not more than the content creator themselves giving their own ad. But ads, I understand the need for them. I just am very, very more attuned with the content creators who are also self-aware about what the ads do for their viewers. So they either put them at the beginning, the end, or they start the video with the sponsor and then go on with their video rather than taking us out of the world that they
Yeah.
put us in.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I don't like either, I would rather prefer it to just be at the beginning,
Yeah, well, it's
than
gonna exist no matter what, so might as
yeah.
well. Yeah,
Exactly, and whatnot. And again, like I said, I get it, that's the way
yeah,
you make it, but at the same time, it's annoying. It's
yeah.
and it kind of takes away from the fun of what YouTube
It
is kind of
does.
supposed to be, is what I feel
It
like as
does.
well. It's just kind of one of those things. But I always remember, I feel like again, just coming back real quick to YouTubers like Smosh and even Fred, they were
Mhm.
kind of one of the first to actually do like narrative driven videos, if you think
Yeah,
about it, be
skits. Yeah.
skits exactly because beforehand, you find stuff like like you said, drunk monkeys, me at the zoo,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other ones, just some, I don't
Charlie
know.
bit my finger.
Charlie bit my finger, exactly. Charlie the unicorn, stuff
Yeah.
like that, and okay, I'm gonna ask you about this, and we'll probably talk more about this later on too. But do you ever remember prank videos?
Yes, I loved prank
I
videos,
love prank
especially
videos as well.
from the Laugh channel, from the Funny Canada channel. I loved those.
Exactly, yeah. And so I remember that was the hugest thing on YouTube at the time. Now pranks you can tell are very fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty out there that actually do it, like, ones that they do it on their buddies or couples, but I feel like the ones where they're
Yeah.
now going out and they're going to a store and they're saying some stuff, a lot of that you can tell is very staged.
And if it's not staged, it's done in a way that is meant to either not intentionally harm but inconvenience people. Whereas back in the day, the jokes and pranks that they would play on people were for the most part pretty harmless. And now you have pranks, and it started in like the late 2010s where it was
Right.
like I pretend to die in front of my girlfriend, and like it's this traumatic thing that happens. And like, I mean, there was a controversy with the Sam and Colby
I remember
duo
that. I remember that.
where one of them pretended to get kidnapped and killed, and
Yes.
that like apparently traumatized it. I mean, it could have been fully scripted, I don't know, but still,
Mhm.
to put that out there as entertainment for content for clout, it's just distasteful.
And I mean, you're also playing with other people's emotions. And I mean, I get
Yeah,
it. That's part of how a prank is supposed to go. But at the end of the day, I feel like a prank is supposed to make somebody laugh. It's supposed to
yeah,
be fun. And obviously, yeah, if you know the people well enough, like obviously you and me, yeah, we could probably be pretty, pretty out there with our pranks. But at the end of the day, we're not going to do something stupid and say like, oh, I pretend to die or I pretended I took my life or I did this, that
yeah,
you just don't do that. You
yeah,
just don't do that. It's not funny. And I even me to myself, I'm thinking that doesn't sound like that's something fun.
yeah. It
When
sort of took the innocence out of a prank and made it like, well, what kind of eye-catching title can we put to this? What kind of reaction can we get from this in the comments? Even if it's a bad reaction,
Yep.
it's still commentary that's making us money. You know,
Right.
people sort of became less dignified when a lot of people became less dignified when it came to the content that they were creating,
Yeah.
specifically in the prank community, the pranking community.
100%, and I mean, yeah, you still had some stuff that was kind of messed up, like intercom pranks, them dropping the milk prank in stores. But I mean,
Yeah,
and don't get
yeah.
me wrong, I'm not defending those videos at all.
But
Me
even then,
re
those are still a lot more innocent
They're
than
still a lot more
what,
insane, and I'm
yeah.
sure most of the people who dropped the milk at least paid for it.
Paid for it and then helped clean up at
Please
least.
help clean up. Yeah. And the thing is, I wouldn't do anything that made a mess.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the intercom pranks, and I will say this. Um, is it ethical and the best idea to get on a store's intercom? Absolutely not. I do not encourage that whatsoever, but you gotta admit it was pretty creative at the
It
same
was,
time. It
but it
was
also
very creative.
depended. It depended also what you did on the intercom too,
That's
because
true. That's
I've
true.
seen some innocent pranks where they get the phone and they're like, "Oh yeah," and you can hear it throughout the store. That's fine, whatever. But then I've also seen people take it and then
Yeah.
like fart into the telephone so
Okay.
that you could hear that. That's disgusting.
Okay,
Like
that I don't remember, but
that's gross. Why would you do that?
or if
Like
you're yeah, I people are just so unhinged nowadays, I feel
I
like. And the
know
thing is,
it's the lack of respect, to be completely honest. Well, I'm hoping that they sanitized that phone after he did that because, like, come on, that's disgusting. Someone's gonna put their face to that. Oh man, it's just people got to think of consequences.
exactly, and I think I'm sorry, that one's actually kind of funny. I mean, it's messed up. It's messed up. I'm not saying it's a good prank, but
Trust me, part of me thinks certain things are funny, and then another part of me reminds me, would I like to be a victim of that? And that's usually what takes the helm when it comes to my deciding if I find it totally funny or not.
true, true.
And no, I would not like to be a victim of that. Picking up that phone and being like, "What's that taste? What's?"
I don't know. Maybe I'm just mean, but I personally would just be like, I don't care if it's especially if it's a Walmart worker. It's whatever.
Oh my gosh!
And
Oh my gosh!
that's just me and whatnot.
Yeah,
But again, otherwise, no. It's definitely distasteful.
yeah,
I definitely think that there's better ways to get a laugh out of someone. I think the thing too is
yeah.
that really when you kind of look at that, I feel like that really kind of breaks down into kind of what came before and what came after, because I feel like when people
Hmm.
started doing that, that was more around like the 2015, 2016 era,
The
whereas I feel
Vine
like
era.
the Vine era, exactly, and
Yeah,
that which evolved into the TikTok era. I think that's
yeah,
when people started doing stupid crap like that.
exactly.
But I'm also gonna say too, I feel like beforehand it was a lot more stuff. Like I remember one of my favorite intercom pranks. The guy gets on the comm, right, and he starts talking, and he goes. It was the release of one of the Twilight movies, I think.
Okay,
When those movies are coming out, I don't know which one it was, but he gets up on the phone, and he goes, um, "Hey, attention, all Walmart shoppers! We have a very special guest, because this was a midnight release. This is back when Walmart and all those places did midnight releases of these movies." And he goes, "We have a special guest. Robert Pattinson, Edward Cullen is out here signing autographs. Give him a round of applause." And you can hear the whole section in the back just, yeah. And you can hear like two people, you can hear a couple people run by, and then 2 seconds later, he gets back on. Just kidding. Twilight sucks. And he hangs up.
that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Because that's harmless.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
Um,
harmless.
no, absolutely. No, I agree. No, not only is that harmless, it's actually funny.
Yeah, it's
You
funny
know?
and it's harmless. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, no, no, I agree. I definitely think pranks nowadays they're just way too volatile. They're mean spirited. I personally, I don't even know if I like stuff even like the laxative prank. People do that on their friends all the
Oh
time. I
no,
feel that's too
thanks.
mean. That's just too
Yeah,
mean. I feel like
that's too mean.
I don't think I'd have the heart to pull that one. And like you said, and also like you said, even about the intercom, it's a disgusting prank. You don't know what's gonna happen, and there's people literally laughing, and this person's probably feeling very humiliated,
Yeah,
by the
for sure.
experience. And not everyone, I'm not going to say exactly. I think we all know what it leads to, but
Hmm.
basically, nobody wants to be the victim of something like that.
No,
Just
exactly.
like you said about the fart and the thing. That's where I agree with you. It's like if you're going to be a victim of it, then yeah, no, absolutely, I would not
Yeah.
want to be a victim of that. And I think it's just like you would not want to be a victim of the of picking up that phone. It's like you don't want to be the victim of a humiliating incident, you know?
Exactly. I mean, it'd be fine if they had like a pre-recorded fart noise on their phone, or like
That's what I'm
back
saying.
back in the day. I don't know if you had this, but there was an app on the iPod Nano, because I was late to the game of getting an iPhone, but where you can make different fart noises from a little fart machine on there.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you were to use something like that, yeah, that's innocent. Nothing disgusting is happening. You're not, because you could get pink eye. You could get there are just a lot
True.
of germs that pass through, and it's just disgusting. But if it was just like the sound that you got from an app or something pre-recorded, that's innocent fun. I'm all for that.
Exactly. And the other thing too, and I'm gonna say this too, is I feel like when you do pranks at a store, it's also, I mean, yeah, I watch the content, yeah, I laughed with it, but you also got to realize too that there's other people on the other line of that who are trying to do their jobs and you're interfering with it and you're
Yeah,
kind of messing up their day to day. And yeah, I know a lot of people like to rag on Walmart workers, but they're just trying to earn a paycheck like everyone else, you know? They're just
absolutely.
trying to get by. And it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Like you want to mess with these people, you see them as expendable, but it's like, guys, at the end of the day, remember too, they have to clean up after you. They have to do all this stuff. And if you make too much of a ruckus, shoot, you might even look at a legal issue and a bunch of paperwork for them,
No, yeah,
and
that's
stuff like
true
that.
about anyone providing a service for you. Don't
Yeah.
take advantage, and also like remember that they deserve respect, not only for their person, their autonomy, all of that.
Mm.
And the golden rule, if you wouldn't like it done to you, don't do it to others.
Absolutely. And it shouldn't be about, oh, this person does this, this person does that. People are people at the end of the day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I think that
Yep.
that's what a lot of people forget nowadays. But
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, to kind of get back on where I was going, the pranks I mostly liked were like when you'd watch a video and they're like, oh, we got a prank we're going on, me and my buddy. Those were the prank videos I really liked.
Yeah,
Um,
because they
uh,
were both consensual. It was consensual. They both knew that pranks were coming.
Yeah, and even though they didn't know when it was going to come, and yeah, they probably didn't like a particular prank, the goal at the end of the day was like, okay, okay, you got me. And then the next thing you know, a week later, okay, you guys saw that video where he dumped a whole bunch of water on me. I need to get my payback. This is what we're going to do, you know?
Whipped cream in a feather.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. I mean, yeah, I watched some of the other stuff a little bit later on,
Yeah.
and whatnot. But again, I think my love for pranks always came back to like if two people like were doing prank wars, they're like stuff like prank versus prank
Yeah.
or
Oh, prank versus prank. I love
P
that
versus
channel.
PvP. Yeah, that was,
Oh man.
so absolutely. But anyways, another thing that I kind of really also know too is that, YouTube for kind of its early era was kind of self-owned. So you could really do all they were kind of their own thing, but eventually Google bought YouTube, and now when
Yep.
Google owning YouTube, the thing is now it's kind of pre-owned by it, so now it feels a lot more, again, like I said earlier, commercial, but now it feels like a place that is very narrative driven and very very commercial because they have a lot of ads and stuff like that, instead of a place that used to be where you just go to watch some fun goofy content. But I think really too the thing is that I'm not saying that them getting bought out made them commercial, but I feel like that's kind of when that downfall of that kind of started, and that's when all the new guidelines came along, and you have a lot of what modern YouTube is now seen as.
True. I mean, modern YouTube, I still use it, but it does not feel the same as it did 10 or so years ago. It definitely, I know you said that you didn't want to stick to the word commercial, but it definitely feels commercial. It
Oh no, it
feels,
is.
and then they came out with YouTube Red and Premium and all these things, and you could tell that they were really in it for the dollar.
Yeah, I mean, there was a period where YouTube Red was making TV shows for a while. They were making
Mm-hmm.
original content. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, that was cool, but I also hated that you had to pay an extra tier just to get into that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about just a fee for the show. That I could understand, but a fee to use it and having to purchase the show. It's like, come on.
And then it became a streaming site, which then like it's sort of, you can't help but lose some respect for YouTube. I respect YouTube because of what it was, what it created and the culture it created. But there are some decisions that they made, obviously for, capital gains, that I don't really agree with as
Oh yeah.
someone who enjoyed YouTube in its rawest state.
100%. I think the only content I liked that came out of YouTube Red, I think I always felt, and as much as I love the show, I feel like it was unfortunate that YouTube Red was the one that got the series, and that was Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid series.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Karate Kid or Cobra Kai started on YouTube Red because nobody wanted to pick this show up. Because obviously, it's kind of
Whoa.
like most people are thinking, who would want to see a follow up show to a 1980s movie all these years later? It's kind of like, can you really
Oh.
continue this story? And these guys absolutely did a phenomenal job of doing it. But because nobody wanted them, they ended up going to YouTube Red.
Did they
And
go to Netflix after that then, or did they finish and then Netflix bought the rights to them?
so here's what happened. So Cobra Kai gets produced for 2 seasons on YouTube Red, and that's really when they were very heavily story driven in the arc of, kind of showing the other side of the villain from the first movie, Johnny
Hmm.
Lawrence. And then now you have Daniel, who was the hero in the first one, but now he's kind of making some iffy choices as how
Mm,
he's responding to it. And so it kind of flips the roles of these two individuals. But what happened was YouTube Red produces 2 series, and then they almost got canceled because YouTube Red shut down. I
hmm.
think it was 2018, 2019, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And then Cobra Kai got put on hold for a while because they needed to find somebody to pick them up, or else it was just going to end at season two. And season
Okay.
two ended on the biggest cliffhanger of all time. If y'all know what I'm talking about, you know. But basically, it ended on the biggest cliffhanger, and now people are thinking, shoot, this show might have just ended on just a random cliffhanger because it may not get renewed. And then that's when Netflix came in and said, we'll buy the rights to this show.
Okay, okay, okay. That makes more
So
sense then.
that's the only thing I do applaud YouTube Red for. The only thing.
So
Other than that, not the huh?
did you pay for it then? Like monthly or
So here's the thing. I A couple episodes were free, and that's how I
okay.
was able to watch. So like the pilot episode and episode 2 were both free of the main series, and then after that you had to pay for the rest of them. So I didn't end
Okay.
up going down that route. I used a back door actually
Gotcha. Okay, okay.
to watch the first two. Yeah.
So it wasn't like a streaming site where you subscribed and paid one thing monthly. Did you have to pay per episode and pay like sort of like Amazon Prime right now?
You had to pay for a season.
Oh, you had to pay for the season. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So that was the annoying part was you had to
Yeah.
pay individually. You had to pay for the season. So
I could see that being
yeah.
annoying.
And I think it's just kind of like, well, if you're gonna do that, then it's kind of like, well, then you might as well either make a whole service or just get rid of it. And I think that's why they got rid of it.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, wait, streaming sites are making money. Let's do
Mhm.
YouTube plus live TV and
Exactly.
charge 79.99 a month."
Exactly. And the funny thing is Netflix actually almost did get Cobra Kai first, but they passed thinking it wasn't going to work. And then when they saw, oh my gosh, this absolutely works, then they came back and were like, yeah, we'll take it. But anyhow, I kind of want to get into some of our memories now,
Let's do
if
it.
doing that. But so I'm going to ask you, my friend,
Okay.
was there a first video you remember like being shared like around like either your friends or something that was popular that was just kind of trending? Like what do you have any memories of kind of that?
Yes, I actually have a little list.
Oh,
And
same.
let me know if you recognize these.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
also, guys, write in the comments if you also watch these or were introduced to these uh
Absolutely.
when you first started watching YouTube. But let me know if this sounds familiar. So
Okay.
as you know, we talked about Charlie Bit My Finger. That
Of
was one of the
course.
big ones.
Of course.
And then Harry Potter Puppet Pals.
Snape. Snape. Severus
Severus
Snape.
Snape.
Dumbledore Snape. Snape. Of course I
Let's
know that.
go. Let's go. And then Chocolate Rain.
Chocolate. Oh, I forgot about Chocolate Rain. Yes.
And then the Star Wars kid. For those of you who are not
Star
familiar
Wars.
with the title, it is a young man replicating a lightsaber fight in I think it was like a theater broom closet or something like that. And someone either had a hidden camera or he recorded it himself. I'm not so sure, but he was going at it. He was just with a broomstick, was doing it so well.
Oh, yes, this guy. I remember.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately,
This
though,
guy.
Exactly. And then unfortunately though there was a lot of hate for that because just
Okay.
people can be very mean.
Yeah, of
But
course.
that and then the last two, Charlie the Unicorn, which we've also talked
Mhm.
about, and Fred. Pretty much anything Fred.
Oh
Hey
my
guys, it's
gosh.
Fred.
Oh my gosh. Fred was like the first one to start the narrative. Fred goes back even before Smosh.
Oh man, yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Fred is huge when it comes to like narrative driven content. And the thing is his
Yeah.
videos weren't even that long. Like he could tell
No.
a whole story in like 5 minutes just with that high
Yeah.
pitched voice. And
Exactly. And he created a universe too because he had characters like his mom,
yep.
his brother, and then they were all like fictitious characters that you never saw, and it was from his point of view. And it was just so creative back in what, 2008, 2009?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He even had his own movie, I
Yeah,
think.
Fred the movie and then Fred
Fred
the
the
movie
movie.
2, and
Fred
then
the movie too, yeah.
he was also on he cameoed in a couple of like Nickelodeon shows, things like that. He was huge. Like he was the biggest YouTuber at one point. So much so where you could walk into a mall and go into like say a Hot Topic or an FYE or whatever, and there were Fred shirts up the wazoo.
Yep. Wow. Yeah. It's absolutely wild. The first Fred video I ever remember watching too was Fred runs for class president. That was the very first Fred video I ever watched. It was one of his later, I think one of his later videos, like as he was starting to decline.
I see. I
But
don't think I
base.
remember my first Fred video, to be honest. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember where that one was, but basically he goes on this whole thing of saying, I'm running for class president because I can move up in the food chain, but my classmate Kevin is running as well. Now I got to find a way to beat him. And it's all in the high pitched, Fred voice. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
it was one of the funniest things,
Yeah.
that I had seen. And I was just like, my gosh, this guy is so creative. And,
Yeah.
and and to think that he built a following just by using a high pitched voice, and that's all.
Seriously. One of the first Fred videos I remember watching was he was kidnapped apparently, and he was tied up in a closet, and he was like,
Oh
"My
yeah,
mom
yeah, yeah, yeah.
kidnapped
My
me" or
mom
something.
kidnapped me. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I remember.
it's so funny. And then one where he like went swimming, and it was like a kiddie pool, and he had like the floaties on and stuff like that. Oh man,
Okay.
he was
That one
creative.
I
He
don't
was
remember that much,
creative.
but yeah. Yeah, he was creative
Yeah.
for sure. Absolutely. But
But that's my list. That's pretty much what is the most prominent in my mind. I'm sure there are other videos that were viral that I watched because of classmates and stuff, but those are the ones that I remember most.
for sure, absolutely. That's amazing. I think probably the ones I remember, of course, Smosh was huge. That was
Smosh,
actually
yeah.
probably the first one I followed. My favorites were always the if blank were real series. That was my favorite types
Okay.
of videos. So like if movies were real, if video
Hmm.
games were real, stuff like that. Those were just some of my favorites. I'd always
If
crack up.
Pokemon were real.
Yeah, and the thing with Smosh is they were kind of one of the first to kind of ride the line between being um family friendly and also being a little bit mature, if you know what I mean by
Yeah.
that. They were
Yeah,
kind of the ones who
absolutely.
rode that line because at the same time, the videos came off pretty somewhat innocent. They would start off, and they were always just goofy,
Yeah.
just kind of with like the yes, I do, kind of just that whole thing. But then at the
The
next,
Anthony Padilla like emo
the
hairsuit.
emo haircut, and then the next thing 2 seconds later, I told you to turn that damn shit off. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so that's what I mean. They kind of rode the line. I feel like, and they're kind of the ones that paved the way for more creative, for lack of a better term, YouTubers
Yeah.
in terms of content, meaning
Yeah.
that, and then at that point, because like the more edgier kind of content, I feel like,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of where that kind of started. And Smosh, they were some of my heroes. I also loved watching um I might get into a little bit more of this when we get to the bedroom vlogger section, but I also loved watching their kind of behind the scenes stuff like mail time. I think it was mail time with Ian was what it was called, and then lunchtime with Smosh. So kind of those side
Okay.
quest things, but they were more in a vlog style. They were not in their traditional
I see.
yeah, video format and stuff. And it's cool to see, I mean, no matter what you think, they were really the first voices that were just developed from two guys living together, being friends for so long, and just making weird, stupid content, for
No,
lack of a
yeah.
better term. I mean, their content wasn't stupid, it was amazing, but you know what I mean.
Some of their first videos were just in like a desk room, and then like a year later they were in like a studio because of how much money they had made.
Yeah, and then they rented that house and everything was shot out
Mhm.
of that house, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's crazy to see that they were able to make serious money with doing that, you
Yeah.
know?
Like
And then
good money too.
exactly, exactly. And actually they were probably the first and only YouTube drama I ever heard about, but again, we'll get to that when we get there.
Okay.
We'll kind of say that. But another one of my favorite videos I remember watching was do you remember YouTube Poops? Please
I
tell
don't
me.
think so. I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think
Oh
so.
my, okay. So there was this whole hub of content creators, and they
Mhm.
made videos called YouTube Poops. They were widely wild, often inappropriate videos where they would take something that was popular, even something like a Caillou cartoon, and they would edit it in a way to make characters say different things to make the video kind of weird and a bit laggy just for the heck of it. And it was usually done with the intent of being funny. So, and
Um, just so that I know what you're
yeah.
saying, it's YouTube POOPS.
That's more plural, but most of the time they're just called YouTube poop or YTP is usually how you'll find them.
YTP. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that no, I'm not familiar with that actually.
Oh man, okay. So I remember these are some of the funniest things. I'll have to send you some later.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
often wildly inappropriate. So sometimes they would take something, and let's say you have an Arthur cartoon, and then something that would be like, let's say something to the effect that would be like, see what I mean? It's like talking to a wall. They might throw a bleep in there to make it sound very different. You see what I mean? It's like bleeping a
Uh,
wall, and stuff like that. And then they might change it to where I said I want to make dinner, or something like that, and then change it, and then you have all these different characters, and a lot of the content is very outdated for now because back in the day, YouTube was very unhinged, and a bunch of swearing, a bunch of different things, and then they would also just edit the video to kind of be kind of laggy, a little weird, all that kind of
that's
stuff.
funny. I'll have to watch them myself
My
because I
favorite.
feel like that would have been right up my alley.
The funniest ones, in my opinion, are the Caillou ones because Caillou's so easy to make fun of. Those are the funniest ones. Yeah.
Uh,
And there was a YouTuber by the name of CS188. His were very unhinged. I mean,
mm.
excuse me, I mean unhinged. Like have a whole different thing. I remember he did one on Nickelback. Instead of it being, look at this photograph, look at this, and stuff like that. So you'll probably have to bleep me on that one, but yeah, that's basically what he said. But oh man, it was the funniest thing. And then the last one I remember was huge. Was this is where my love for Halo was starting. Was a video called, and this was just a random weird creative video. It was called 100 Ways to Die in Halo 3. And instead of being in that first person POV like you are in Halo, it's in a third person, and it's showing all the weird ways a person can die. Some of them fake, some of them real. And
Okay.
it uses the theme from Pee-wee's Big Adventure as well, which I thought was
Oh
funny.
man, that's
The dun
hilarious.
dun 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 dun. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I got to send you some videos for sure. So
Yeah, do that for sure.
yeah, and it was interesting too because back in the day, nowadays you have like and dislike on video options, which I
Hmm.
think is interesting. But back in the day, you used to have something called video responses. I don't know if you remember video responses.
I don't actually.
Okay, so no worries. Video responses were something back in the day where basically what you would do is you would when you'd watch a video, you could attach a response via video, and you could kind of respond and be like, "Hey, I really liked your video. I thought that was really cool, really interesting, really this and this," and then just leave it at that. It's usually between like maybe 10 to 30 seconds usually, and
Oh, whoa,
um,
okay.
yeah, so instead of just having to make a comment, you could just literally reply with a video response. And I remember that if you go and watch some old YouTube videos that are still up, you might even hear them say something like, if you have something that's similar to this, post it as a video response. And then oftentimes people would do that.
Oh, that's interesting. That sort of sounds familiar, but I don't really think I had the opportunity to actually see these responses.
Okay.
Um, I watched YouTube primarily on my iPod Nano at the time.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
My iPod Touch.
Oh, yeah. And that was when they had the actual dedicated YouTube app that came
Ex-
downloaded on every one of these things instead of now
ex-
having to download it from the App Store.
exactly the one that looked like a little TV, like a box
Yes.
TV.
Yes, yes. And had a very different layout too, mind you.
Very different layout, exactly. It used a lot of blues as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't recall the video responses. I feel like I definitely would have used that. I don't know why I didn't see any. Perhaps the videos that I was watching weren't really calling for that.
No, absolutely. And it's one of those things where I remember the one time I responded to did a video response. There was this guy who was on YouTube and he was a bit of a wild child. He went by the name of Blood Blitz back in the day, and his whole thing was Guitar Hero. And
Oh,
he had Guitar Hero for his PC because they actually made that back in the day. And he made a video where he found some downloadable songs. Because if you played on PC versions of games, sometimes you could get downloadable content from the internet, often free, and then you download it as a file into the game, and then you can do all these crazy things. And it was called The World's Most Impossible Guitar Hero 3 Song. And basically, what the person did is they made a Guitar Hero 3 song that's virtually unplayable by
oh, they
making a
made the
bunch of
song
notes.
themselves.
Yeah, the creator didn't, but
Whoa,
whoever made the file made this song and
whoa.
whatnot. So yeah, it was funny because that's how you got custom Guitar Hero songs back in the day. Um,
Mm.
and I remember he made this video. It was one of my favorite videos when I was a kid. I mean, that's I had to always watch it with headphones in because the guy was had the mouth of a sailor. But I mean, it was the funniest. It was one of the funniest things because he was going back and forth and all this. And I just remember I made a video response going, "My gosh, I can't believe this is." Real whatnot. And he rejected my video response, but it was what it was. But that's the only time I made one. Yeah, you actually had the power to do that back in the day too.
Oh, wow. Okay, so like, say if it was inappropriate or whatever, they would just deny
You,
access
yeah, they
to.
could. I mean, most YouTubers didn't set that up, but some did, and apparently
Mm.
he did. So, oh well.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that was probably one of I remember. And then instead you would give it 5 stars instead of a like or dislike, or else you give it one if you hated it, or
Mm,
yeah. So, um, yeah, definitely a very very different world for that, if you
yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah.
And the other thing too is the crazy part about old YouTube, we kind of mentioned this at the beginning, but back in the day you could not upload these hour-long videos that people upload now. It was only 10 minutes. That was it.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
it.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. That was the length. I remember when I first joined YouTube, they said how to upload a video to YouTube. First thing they said, your video can be no longer than 10 minutes. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? And henceforth, why we
Mm-hmm.
have part two, part three, part four, part five, and next thing you end up with a little
Mm-hmm.
mini series on how to change the oil in your car.
Yup, yup. And nowadays you can find The Sound of Rain 15 hours long.
Yeah. You can put it on and go to sleep with it. You wake up, it's still going when you wake up.
Rick rolled for 24 hours.
Oh my gosh, Rick rolling for sure. We're gonna probably talk. I'm for sure gonna bring that up later. Yeah, Rick
That's
rolling is
funny.
is probably it was one of the best internet pranks. And you want to talk about a fun prank? That was a fun prank. Um but I think what was cool about it, and I don't know about you, but I thought what was cool about the 10-minute thing. I mean, yeah, it was annoying and whatnot, but it made you have to be more creative in a sense because you had only a certain short amount of time to make a video, grab someone's attention, hold it, and then the next thing you know, you have to wrap it up in just that little time frame.
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely say creativity was a factor, but also YouTuber burnout too, because
True.
in order to get like a story or a series out, you really had to upload, like say you got your 10 minutes. Okay, well, they need part 2, so I have to upload that. Well, they need part 3, so I have to upload that. So and then
Yep.
it gets everything gets tiring, and then the YouTuber takes a 6-month hiatus because they're so tired of the amount of time they have to upload. But now finally,
Mhm.
after that rule was no longer relevant, they could put all the info that they wanted into that 5-part series just into one beautiful video.
Yeah, that's true. And I definitely see the perks of that for sure. And I think a lot of it too is, yeah, there's a lot of burnout and there's a lot of that too. But I feel like also, back then, because everyone was wanting to find their voice on YouTube, it was kind of like most people just went ahead and did it, and I feel like, like you said, unless you were like a big YouTuber like Fred or one of these guys, yeah, it was easy to get burnt out, especially if you didn't have a big following at the time.
Yeah. And you didn't have a team to help you out with your editing, with your filming, with all of that.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that was the other thing as well, which is why YouTube was more known for just kind of the niche, kind of just spur of the moment kind of videos more so
Hmm.
than it was narrative content,
Yeah.
um, and whatnot. So no, definitely, um, was wild, and I often thought, it was interesting. But the other thing I kind of did like about it, I mean, I agree with what you said about it being about being able to put it all in one. I definitely think that's a much more create not creative but the better way to go about it. But I also kind of did like when it would give you mystery in terms of when you'd have multiple parts. Sometimes it'd say tune in tomorrow for part two, and then the next thing you know, you're having to wait, and it kind of feels like that old like TV show format, where you had to
Okay.
wait a bit, for that. And I don't know, I think maybe I'm a bit more biased because I do like a lot of mystery. I do like being on the edge of my seat, and I do like lots of suspense. So that could just be a me thing, but I think that's one other thing I did kind of like about the 10-minute thing. I'm not saying I loved it. It was annoying for sure, especially as a creator. I hated it, but I definitely think it helped in some ways, if you know what I mean. With
Yeah, I think I'm so detached from that because that was so long ago. I can't really give more input on how it made me
fair.
feel. But logically, I would want to finish something if I started it. So
Sure.
that's where I'm coming from. It's not like I
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
remember how I felt
Okay.
about that time minute the time the time crunch and whatnot. So and I wasn't a YouTuber until after that limit was taken away. So I
Right,
didn't I
right.
didn't have firsthand experience on that either.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think when I formed my channel, I was 13. So that would have been, let me think, 2007, I'm 10, yeah, about around 2010. So it would have still been around kind of that same earlier era. So YouTube, Google would have bought them by that point, because I think they purchased them only a year after they established themselves. But still, it was
Okay.
still kind of in that older era. Yeah, it was still the 10-minute limit, and it was
Mm.
still a lot of those different factors. Oh my gosh, my old videos, I don't even know if I still have them, but whatever they are cringeworthy to go back and look at sometimes. I don't know if I'd be able to go back and watch myself as a kid. Because I did not take care of myself well back when I was young, man. I didn't comb my hair. I looked like I hadn't showered in it. Oh, it's so embarrassing.
Oh man, that's funny.
I never did that because I don't know what it was with me when I was young, but I just for some reason that just never happened. Next thing you watch me, hey guys, this is JC Marfer. I look like I just got out of bed. My hair's all poofy, not combed. I got braces. I have pimple. I'm just like, oh, it's so cringy. Oh
um,
man.
my first YouTube videos were a
Yeah.
little bit tame, so I think I
Okay.
started my channel at like 15,
Okay.
and it was just singing and piano playing, so
Okay.
it was very tame.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's still cool though. I mean, that's it's better than what I was doing. I was like, "Hey guys, so if you want to know how to mail a Netflix DVD, this is how you do it." Or I'd say, "I'm gonna prank call this place," or "I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." And then my friend Kobe comes along. All respect to my friend Kobe, but he comes along and he joins my channel under the pseudonym Spazzy Dazzy Films. And this guy, when he was young, oh boy, let's just say he was a little too innocent for his own good. I love you, bud, but that's that's kind of how it was back in the day. So he joined for a little while, and then I started moving into more different content as I started to grow more older. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But anyways, another thing too, that was interesting was, I don't know if you remember on the old channels how the pages were where you could customize the background to whatever you wanted, and you could really kind of make your page yourself. Did you ever experiment? Well, I know you probably wouldn't have experimented with it because I don't know if you had your channel at the time, but do you remember like clicking on another person's channel and seeing that?
I really only remember banners. I don't really remember
Yeah.
anything else, to be completely honest.
Okay, so back in the day, YouTube also had this thing where you could customize your entire background. You could talk about who you were as a creator, and you could set whatever video you wanted when people would come to your main page.
That's actually pretty cool.
It was cool. No joke. And then you'd have all the videos you uploaded and all that kind of fun stuff. And so it was one thing. It was very creative. It felt very personal. Let me see if I can find an image. Old YouTube channel layout.
Was that something you would primarily see if you were on the desktop?
Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ready for a nostalgia trip? That's what an old YouTube channel would look like back in the day.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't look it up on the desktop, so that's probably why I only remember the banners because once I started looking it up on my family computer
Yeah.
for specific pages, I just really remember seeing the banners like Shane Dawson's banner in the background, things like
Yep.
that.
And the other thing too was you were able to have activity on there too, so people could like chime in and write comments and on your actual channel. I mean, they kind of reverted back to
Whoa.
that now with the community page on YouTube, but back then you could actually like write in somebody's channel like awesome channel, awesome content, great stuff, and your subscribers could do all that. And then they had a layout for all your subscribers. Yeah, that's how the old channels
Oh
worked.
man, that is actually pretty sick. I wish they would bring that back because now everything is just very, it's like a white wall with like a very professional photo of you as your profile. I don't know.
I was hoping they would have done it for the 20th anniversary, but they didn't. So,
Mm.
we'll have to see if they ever do that again. So yeah. Anyhow, my friend, I don't know about you, but are you ready to get to our favorite part of every episode?
We're already there. Wow. Yes, I
It's wild.
am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, are we ready for on three? One, two, three. Fun
Fun
facts
facts
and
and trivia.
trivia. Ow! What a
What a
difference.
difference.
All right.
We need to work on that,
We
but
need to work on that. The time. I think I messed us up with the clap. I don't think I was on beat. I was just like one, two, three. I gotta get better. Gotta get on time. So
we'll keep practicing. We'll keep practicing.
absolutely. So I have four fun facts today. I guess we'll go ahead and get started.
I have five, but I have less trivia, but bear with me on this one. My first fun fact is back in 2009, YouTube started feeling more official when Vivo launched and partnered with YouTube. All of a sudden, you weren't just watching random uploads. You're watching high quality official music videos from major artists and labels.
Wow, that's wild. That is
Yeah.
wild for
It was
sure.
like the MTV of the internet, pretty
I was
much.
gonna say, yeah, basically that's one of the reasons MTV phased out. I feel like was because
Yeah.
YouTube made it to where instead of having to wait for your favorite music video to come on, and now you're watching MTV, all you had to do was search up "Video Killed the Radio Star," hit enter, there it is.
There it is. There it is. Number two, it was easy to find full movies broken up into parts, and we did talk about this
Yeah.
earlier. You'd search for a title and end up watching part 1 out of 12, then part 2 out of 12, all the way through, usually with slightly off audio and a little bit weird zoom effects to avoid copyright. It wasn't exactly official, but it was one of the main ways that we access movies that we couldn't rent. Obviously, we didn't have streaming at the time, so it was a big platform for movie lovers.
Oh yeah. Like I said earlier, that is how I got to watch a lot of the stuff that number one I shouldn't have been watching, but number two the stuff I wanted to be watching. So
For sure.
definitely was an interesting time. I don't actually remember a lot of the ones I watched having off audio or video. I just remember them being in a more like 720p
Hmm.
um at like quality rather than
Hmm.
the traditional 1080p that was the standard. So maybe that had something to do with it too, but I do remember as time went on, either the audio would be slightly out of sync or they would mirror the video, so
Yeah, at the beginning of YouTube, when you were able to upload movies, they weren't as strict. But I believe in like the early 2010s, they implemented that it had to be manipulate the original content had to be manipulated, and that's when you hear like a higher pitched voice or the zooming in. When I would watch movies at that time, the main thing I would notice is that it was cropped, and you could
Mhm.
consider that zooming in, but also like just cropping your picture a little bit.
Okay, that I
um
do remember. Yeah, on some of
yeah,
them, I remember Jaws was cropped to almost be like a full screen compared to the
the
wide aspect
widescreen.
ratio. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was standard. So
Yeah, but now obviously you can't really do that because of copyright infringement, so you have to rent or purchase directly from
I was
the
gonna
YouTube
say,
website.
hmm
Speaking of money, when Patreon came into the picture, instead of relying only on ads, creators could finally get direct support from their audience. It changed the whole dynamic. Viewers weren't just watching anymore, they were helping fund the content they cared for, and in return, getting things like early access, bonus videos, and behind the scenes stuff. So you
yeah,
could also be an active participant in the way that your channel, or in the way that this creator's channel went. You know,
yep,
if you wanted to see an unhinged video that was uncensored, or see a video days before it was actually released, you would pay one to a couple of dollars a month in order to receive said access. And
yeah,
you also have the ability as a content creator to create tiers. So, for example, if John and I decide to do Patreon, say for like the first dollar, for the first tier, we would say, hey, pay us $1 a month and you can get a shout out from us after every video. If you pay $5 a month, you'll receive a personalized text with
yep.
also bloopers on the next video. And then if you pay us $20 million, we will
Damn.
do an episode in your house. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it varied what you could get. And I think that also helped with engagement too.
Hey, if you want to pay us $20 million to do an episode in our house, please let us know.
Please
Please
let
let us
us
know.
know.
We will
Let us
not
know.
turn that opportunity down. Like if you just happen to have $20 million just laying around, just let us know. We'll come, we'll set up, we'll do the whole show, and then we'll get out of there. And then we'll just we take check, we take cash, we take credit. Um
Bitcoin, Zelle.
I don't know about Bitcoin or Zelle. I mean, I don't think you can I don't know if you can transfer $20 million, um, but no, I think Patreon's a cool thing because it allows people who even can't reach the partnership program to still be able to make money and be
Yeah,
able to profit off of their content, in other
yeah,
ways. And especially because the partner program is also has its own hurdles and things you have to get around, even if you do become a part of it. I do definitely think that Patreon has become a very handy alternative.
absolutely. Now, on to number 4. If you wanted to keep up with someone, subscribing actually mattered. There wasn't much of an algorithm pushing videos to you, so subscription feed was everything. If you missed an upload, it was on your inability to press that little like and subscribe button, which, by the way, I'm going to break character and ask you guys to do that for us as well if you want to keep seeing us every month, and if you want to
Please.
keep going back and rewinding with us. But yes, back in the day, if you weren't subscribed to somebody, the chances of you being able to see that part 2 of that cliffhanger video were pretty much unlikely unless you remembered the content creator's handle.
Exactly. No, that's that's crazy to think that, unless you remember all of that or you copy and paste it somewhere, the only
Yeah,
real way you could keep up with them is by subscription, and it wasn't necessarily about algorithmic now, whereas now you watch a
yeah,
lot of that creator, usually they're gonna recommend you their videos whether you're subscribed or not,
exactly.
and whatnot.
Exactly.
So no, I definitely think that's interesting.
Or under like the related videos, like say if you are watching, like nowadays, if you're watching a YouTube channel that you really like and you forget to subscribe and you happen to watch a YouTube channel that is similar to theirs,
Yeah.
chances are they're going to pop up under the related
Oh,
videos because of the
absolutely.
algorithm.
Or if you watch them so much, it comes to the point where whatever video you click on, you're going to get a recommended from them, most likely.
True, true, true. And my last fun fact before I pass the baton back on to you
Mhm.
is watching a video meant dealing with buffering. Oh my gosh, we
Mhm.
hated buffering. Everyone had the same routine. Click the video, pause it right away, and let that little gray bar
Yep.
load before actually watching. And if you didn't, you were stuck at constant interruptions.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was even before the day where you had instant buffering, where like now on a YouTube video, you can drag it in an area that hasn't buffered yet, and bam, it's just gonna buffer automatically because of, high speed internet and all that kind of stuff. Now,
Yep.
back in the day, you did that. It just loading, 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 loading. Hi guys, my name loading, 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 loading. Just like you said, you just get
Hmm.
kind of that whole thing. And this is before ads. Like you think ads are annoying. Like this was 10 times more annoying. At least an ad most of the time you can skip or it's going to be over in like 10 seconds. Don't get me wrong, I hate ads, but still same thing. But it's like at the same time it's kind of like that was just as annoying, if not more, because now you can't even watch the video and you have to wait for this thing to grow. And then the worst part is that if, let's say, you start watching the video and then all of a sudden you have to click off it, you have to rebuffer the whole thing.
Yes, I was going to say the worst thing you could do is refresh your page.
Refresh the page, or if your internet starts running slow, then you have to
Hmm.
literally go in there and and then the next thing, no, and then it has to
Yep.
rebuffer. It was awful.
No, sometimes, you would put on a video, it would be 3 minutes long. And because you knew that the buffering time was going to take a while, like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, you would walk away and go run an errand or something.
Mhm.
Or you would go to the bathroom, take a bathroom break, and then you'd come
Yeah.
back to hope that the entire bar was gray.
Absolutely. One other thing I was going to bring up just really quick I thought was interesting too is I don't know if you remember this too. It wasn't even just with the buffering, but it also had to do with what was it? I just lost my train of thought actually, so we're going to forget what I was about to say. If I remember it, I'll bring it back up. So
Yes, please do.
I,
Please
I
do.
apologize about that, folks. The memory's been foggy. As you can see, I almost jumped the gun on my friend. So, so basically, yeah, but no, great fun facts, my friend. There's a lot in there I did not know about, or you made me remember a lot of really cool things. So I think
We're rewinding.
absolutely we're rewinding. So right now I'm gonna hit the pause button and I'm gonna tell you about today's sponsor. No, I'm kidding. We don't have any sponsors right now, but I'm going to tell you some of my fun facts. So actually, no, we got to press play now. So let's go ahead. Um,
Wait, you got a buffer. And loading.
okay, five fun f facts. Okay, got that out of the way. Okay. Before the era of high production influencers, there was Lonely Girl 15, a 2006 YouTuber who was a teenage vlogger named Bree who gained a massive following by documenting her life and a strange cult her family belonged to. It was eventually revealed to be a scripted fictional series. The first major instance of vlogging being used as a storytelling medium proved that audiences could form a deep emotional bond with digital creators, even if they weren't real. So think about that
Whoa.
one of the first vloggers was fake, for lack of a better term.
Is that one of the first pranks then?
I guess it really could be seen as
That's a
one of the first
long-winded
pranks.
prank. That's
I,
long.
yeah, exactly. Because, well, I don't know if they ever disclosed all of that or if they even tried to pawn themselves off as being fake. I don't know the whole series. I didn't really watch this person, but I do remember when this all happened. I remember it even making the news saying that this YouTuber was
Really?
doing a fake series that many people thought was real, and then that
Oh
actually
man.
led in turn to actual people kind of videoing and vlogging their days, and
Oh wow.
that's kind of where that thing started. And even vlogging kind of started a little bit in the 10-minute era of YouTube, but instead of going throughout the entire day and making a 20 to 30-minute video, they would show snippets of some of the best parts of the day. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's kind of how that all went down and worked out. So,
That's pretty cool though to be able to sort of trick everybody into believing something that's kind of cool.
it is kind of cool actually when you think about it. It's like War of the Worlds times 10,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and whatnot. And so, yeah, it was definitely interesting. And then now we have a whole list of people who just do vlogging, and that's how they make their
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
So, number two, we have in the early years, you. Oh wait, never mind. We're gonna edit. We're gonna edit that out. So, Okay, the next one is for years, Justin Bieber's Baby held the crown for the most disliked video on the platform. However, in late 2018, YouTube itself took the title with YouTube Rewind 2018, becoming the most disliked video in history, surpassing 10 million dislikes in just 1 week because the community felt that the platform was prioritizing advertisers over actual creators who built the site. It remains a legendary moment of user versus platform tension.
Oh, community retaliation. I love to see it. That is awesome. Yes, fight for your rights, content creators. Let's
Yeah. I mean,
go.
YouTube Rewind, I mean, it's a cool idea, but at the same time, when you're profiting off of something like that, then it's kind of like then you kind of start wondering where's the line, you know? You're kind of like
Yeah.
what's going on? Doesn't make sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just doesn't sound good, you know, toward the end. So I can definitely see why a lot of people were upset by this,
Yeah.
you know, and whatnot. Baby was
Baby,
annoying. Complete
baby,
no,
baby.
no, no. No, 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 no. Oh my gosh, I remember hearing that song so much because I remember so many of the girls in my school were so in love with Justin Bieber. That's the only song they would play, and then they'd get mad and be like, "You
Oh
just don't
man.
understand." I
Oh
understand
man.
clearly. He sucks at singing.
Oh man. He's not everyone's cup of tea. He sure was not mine, but
Neither was
I do
mine, but
remember the craze that many girls in my middle school also had for
oh
him
my
and the
gosh.
Justin or and the Jonas Brothers, and then when we were in high school, like One Direction, all those
Yeah.
boy oriented
Bands,
music
yeah, yeah.
phenomenons. Yeah.
Well, at least the thing with the Jonas Brothers that I can kind of get behind is they can actually make good music. That's the only thing I can kind of get behind. I mean, am I a huge fan of the Jonas Brothers? No, not really. But I'm just saying, you know, I mean, but Justin Bieber, One Direction, no, thank you. Sorry to anyone that might like those bands. I'm not saying you're wrong for liking them, just not our cup of tea. At least mine. So my next one is for nearly a decade, if a video started going viral, the view count would freeze at 301 views. This was not a glitch, it was a verification process. YouTube systems would pause the public count when they verified that the views were coming from real people and not bots. Once verified, the count would jump to the actual number of views, often in the thousands or even at times millions. The 301 plus badge became a symbol of video making in the early 2010s.
Oh man, I wish they still had that. Just the fact that you can buy bots right now to like, dislike, and also just do viewership is just insane.
It's cheating in
Bring
my
that back.
it's cheating in my opinion, you know?
It's absolutely cheating.
I get it. You wanna become big and stuff, but you gotta realize you have to build an audience. You have to build a network, a community. And that to
Yeah.
me sounds more rewarding because in the end, you have actual people who actually like what you're doing. And even if you can't reach those numbers, at least you're doing something you like and you're engaging with people who want to do that. When you buy views, it's literally saying, "Hey, look at me." You sound like the
Yeah.
most arrogant person in the room, really.
And let's be honest, guys, we can usually tell if you have 100,000
Oh yeah.
subscribers, but your videos average 100 likes and or like 600 views. It's a little bit suspicious. You
It
can't
is.
just blame the algorithm on that.
It is. And, you know, to be honest with you, I just feel like, you know, I mean, yeah, like I said, I get it. People want to look cool. They want to do this, but actually do the work and earn it. Don't
Mhm.
be lazy and just say, oh, I just want to look cool or, oh, I just want to earn money. Because guess what? You can't earn money by buying views because YouTube will know
Mhm.
automatically if
Mhm.
that's what you're doing. There's
Yeah.
no easy way around it. So, and then my last one is pretty simple. It's YouTube used to be full of hidden games and Easter eggs built directly into the player. For instance, if you entered a certain code, you could play a game of Snake and use the Force loop would allow you to control would allow your mouse to control the screen, and the screen would move as the way your mouse would go in the direction your
That's
mouse went.
so cool.
Yep.
I unfortunately did not really get a chance to play with that feature, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I used the force loop once, and that was kind of trippy to be honest, because then the whole page would move. If I moved my mouse to the left, the whole page went to the left, went to the right. It kind of got squiggly. It was just,
Do you know if that still works?
I
Like
don't think
if you can
so.
still do it?
I don't
Oh,
think
dang
so.
it.
I have to try it just for the heck of it, but we'll
Yeah.
have to see. But Snake you can play on Google easily, so
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can so Snake I'm pretty sure you can still do, but I don't know
Mm,
about use the Force. So
mm.
yep. So
Especially after Disney purchased it and whatnot.
yep, absolutely. 100%. So um anyhow, I think it's time for trivia, my friend.
Brrr. Yes, sir.
Yep. So, the first trivia question that I have for you, I have four of them today.
Okay.
And the first one I have for you is, what was the first YouTube video to ever hit 1 million views?
1 million views. First ever. Do you know the year?
Late 2005.
Late 2005, then I know I know the first video on YouTube was me at the zoo or a day at the zoo or something like
Me
that.
at
So
the
I'm
Zoo
just
was the first video. Yeah.
so I'm probably gonna say that just because of how iconic it being the first video ever.
It actually isn't. It's a Nike commercial featuring someone by the name of Rolandino, is I believe how they say their name. I do not know exactly if that is a correct pronunciation. If I butcher that, I
Mm.
apologize. But it was a clip of a Brazilian football star crossbar hitting while testing new boots, which became the platform's true first viral sensation. It proved that to corporations that YouTube wasn't just for home movies, but a massive new frontier for global marketing.
Whoa. Yeah, there's no way I could have guessed that. I've also never seen that video.
Neither have I, so I'm gonna have to go look this up after we're
Me
done
too.
here for sure. So, the next one that I have is in the early 2010s, what music video was the first to break the YouTube view counter by surpassing 2 billion views? You should absolutely know this one.
Okay, my brain didn't process that in the time that I wanted it to. Can you repeat that question one more time for me, please?
Absolutely. So, first off, I really hope you get this because this was back when YouTube was at its height.
Oh man.
But number two is in the early 2010s, which music video was the first to break the YouTube view counter by surpassing 2 billion views?
2010s. It was a music video. Uh was it that it was music video? Was it the oh, Gangnam Style? I was like,
I
"What?"
I didn't
Just
know if you
because
saw.
your camera cuts off so it makes you look like you're doing some questionable things.
Oh my gosh, are you
Um
for real? That's what it looked
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I was trying to
Gangnam
do it in
Style.
the. Yes, it is Gangnam Style.
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay.
was. I
Okay.
don't know. Did you see what I was? I was trying to
It
do
sort of
the.
looked like you were going like this.
I was trying to do this. I only know that because I remember in middle school everyone was doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
whoa, whoa,
funny.
whoa.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So, Gangnam Style by PSY. The video was so popular that it exceeded the maximum value of a 32-bit integer, which was the system YouTube used to count views at the time. Engineers had to upgrade the count to a 64-bit integer to accommodate the K-pop sensation's massive global reach.
I was gonna say the Korean people definitely do love their K-pop,
Let's
and
be real.
now you know now in this day and age, considering the amount of awards K-pop Demon Hunters won, the American public is also and the European public is also riding on the Gangnam
Yeah.
legacy.
Yeah, I really think that Gangnam Style is the video that really got the Western world into K-pop. Really, that's the video I
Yeah,
feel like that did it.
for sure.
I mean, there's always been fans of K-pop everywhere, but I feel like that's
Yeah.
the one that kind of solidified it to a point where now a lot
Mm,
of young people are like, "Oh, excuse me, I love K-pop, all this." So,
mm.
for sure. And then my next one is, what was the YouTube Awards and who won the very first ever Best Video category in 2006? Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't expect you to get this, but give it your best guess.
So the question is asking who won that award, or is
Um,
that a two-part question?
it is a bit of a two-parter. So the first part is, What was the YouTube Awards and who won the first ever Best Video category in 2006?
Was it the YouTube Music Awards? That's the only one that I.
It is not, but I will
Okay.
explain this. So it's gonna kind of be revealed a bit in the explanation as well. It is, and this is something you probably never heard of. I never heard of it either before. The Terra stop motion animation by creator OK Go was the answer to that second part. The
Oh,
first, the first, the answer to the first part was basically the YouTube Awards was basically before the Streamy Awards or the VMAs added digital creators. YouTube hosted its own awards show in 2006 to honor its community. OK Go won for their iconic treadmill dance "Here It Goes Again," which remains one of the most famous examples of a DIY music video success. So that's the
okay.
answer to that. But the answer to the first part is basically the YouTube Awards were YouTube's own awards show before the Streamy Awards or the VMA Awards.
Oh, okay. I do recall the music video because I recently saw it on. I don't know if it was like an ad or if it was like a commercial, but they played it and it brought back memories. But yeah, there's
Gotcha.
no other way I would have gotten that off the top of my
For
head.
sure. And nowadays, I mean, you do still have some of these creator awards, but now you have conventions like VidCon, where they
Yeah,
have these kind of
yeah,
award shows now, and that's where you start getting into a lot of these bigger, brand
yeah,
things as well. So,
yeah.
um, and whatnot. So, and then my final one is, what was the name of the official annual? Okay, I've already kind of mentioned this, so I kind of hope you get this, but if you don't, all good. What was the name of the official annual video series YouTube produced to celebrate the year's biggest trends and creators?
Was it the rewind, the YouTube rewind?
Yes, that
Yeah,
is
okay.
correct. Ding,
Well, I
ding,
got
ding. You
one
got
point.
that.
Let's
You got
go.
1 point. Yep. YouTube Rewind. Starting in 2010, these high budget mashups were meant to be a year in review featuring the platform's top talent. While they were initially beloved, the series eventually canceled after the 2018 and 2019 editions received record-breaking backlash from the community.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
YouTube doesn't do Rewind anymore. So
True. Yep, they
yeah.
learned their lesson, that's for
They
sure.
did. I think the reason it was beloved in the past was because it was just about fun watching videos, seeing videos maybe you didn't get exposed to, a bunch of other stuff like that. But eventually it became something to where it eventually kind of spewed into like, because they started making money off it, a lot of other things,
Yeah.
and that's where the controversy came in.
Rightfully so. I mean, it's not their videos. They're just compiling other people's work and then slapping a label saying, "Hey, this is our video and the pay us for it." Yeah, I totally
Absolutely.
understand. Yeah.
100%. But that's all I've got for trivia. My
Yeah.
friend, I'm ready for you to tease my brain.
Well, you definitely stumped me. Mine are a little bit easier. But I'm actually gonna rearrange the order of one of them just because I pretty much said the answer to one of them before. So
Oh, okay.
just gonna try to trick you there
Okay,
by
okay, okay.
putting some time in between both
Okay.
of the answers. But my first question is, which YouTube channel became known for using oddly specific or thought-provoking questions as video titles that pull you in instantly?
Oh, oh, this is tough. There's a few that I know do it now, but I'm trying to think of the first
Okay.
that did that.
Just list them and you might actually even get it.
Oh my God.
Or go with your first instinct.
Okay, this is gonna just be my first instinct. It's very wrong, but is it the infographic show?
No, it's not. I'm actually not
No, I didn't
familiar
think
with
so.
that. I'll have to
Okay, I'll
watch
have
it.
to explain a bit. Again, I think that's a more modern thing, but I'm
Okay.
just guessing. I just went with the first thing I thought of.
Got you.
Aside
Got you.
from
Got
that, I don't think I really have a guess for this one.
The answer is the YouTube channel Vsauce.
Oh my. And I used to watch Vsauce
Yep.
all the time.
Yep. Vsauce.
Oh
Vsauce.
my God. How did I not think of Vsauce?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I feel dumb now. Yes, Vsauce. I remember Vsauce very well.
I still sort of watch Vsauce every now and then, but
I'm
he's mostly on like TikTok and Instagram now.
Yeah, I'm still subscribed to him on YouTube. In
Me
fact,
too.
the very first video I saw from Vsauce was why did the chicken cross the road?
Yep, yep, yep.
And the
Or
reason
your
uh
brain on drugs, and me as like a seventh grader, like, what is this?
yes. Vsauce, I remember why did the chicken cross the road. The reason I watched that video was because some guys made a joke in my class, and it's the infamous no soap radio joke, and I didn't understand it, and they told me go watch that video, you'll understand, and it
Oh, I
explained
don't even
everything.
understand that.
So basically, there's this joke. It has no real punchline, but basically, the goal is to do is you're supposed to trick the person that you want to tell. It's usually somebody with a very giggly sense of humor or just laughs at everything, basically.
Okay.
And you tell a joke, and basically the joke goes: three elephants are sitting in a bathtub, and they're all trying to bathe, and then one of them asks if they could pass the soap, and the elephant in the corner says no soap radio. Now the joke has no real meaning, but the goal is after the person says that is everyone at the table is supposed to crack up laughing, and the way you get the person is if they start laughing at it, not understanding what the joke is, but thinking they do because everyone else around them is
So it's a
laughing.
social experiment
It's a
then.
social experiment, exactly. So that's kind of how
Oh,
it goes. So the joke makes no sense because obviously it's kind of like,
yeah,
why would you say no soap radio? But you almost make it sound like maybe something inappropriate or something wildly
yeah,
crazy happened when
yeah.
really they're just saying, can you pass the soap? And the guy goes, no soap radio. And I didn't understand what it meant, but I remember everyone cracked up around me. So yeah, it's a social experiment to try and see if you can get your buddies to laugh at something that's totally meaningless.
Oh man, okay, okay.
So
No,
that's
that
how
makes sense.
very first time I saw Vsauce. So anyhow, my friend, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Number two. What was the name of the annual YouTube fan voted award show that debuted in 2013 but only lasted 1 year? Now, I said it actually as a wrong answer to one of your questions.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you did.
You're gonna kick yourself. You're gonna kick
I
yourself.
am gonna kick myself. I know. I already feel it. I'm trying to remember what you said is the thing.
That's
Cause
my biggest problem every single episode.
yes, I'm trying to remember what you said. Um, because I remember you said it was for what was the YouTube awards? It was that one. That's the
Yep.
one you said
Yep.
the
I
answer.
literally said it and I didn't even realize that it was my first question too.
Oh my gosh. And the worst part was I wasn't even really paying attention. I mean, I was like I heard what you said.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I forgot what you said.
The YouTube
The YouTube
Music
video.
Awards.
Oh my gosh. I was almost gonna say the streamy. Yeah. Okay. YouTube Music Awards.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. YouTube. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then my last question, actually, because when I was looking over my questions, I realized a lot of them overlapped with yours, so I just got rid of them. But
Oh
my
my
last
gosh.
question is, which nonprofit backed video campaign in 2012 became one of the fastest to reach millions of views, focusing on a Ugandan warlord?
I don't remember a lot of this stuff. Now this is the side of YouTube I never visited.
So, this was a campaign that actually went to schools. They would go to schools and they would play a video by the Invisible Children, and it was called Coney 2012.
Coney 2012. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. I
Coney
remember this now.
2012!
I remember this, yeah, because they were talking about okay,
Yeah,
Ugandan leader Coney 20. Oh my gosh, it's
yeah,
been that long that yeah.
yeah.
No, I remember because I remember in my school that blew up, and I had teachers
Hmm.
literally talking and trying to teach us about this person,
Yeah.
and they were trying
So,
to expose him as a warlord rather than a like vigilante fighter, which is how they say he was seen in his country.
so actually, there was a lot of controversy behind the Coney 2012
I
only a couple of
remember.
years after it. So let me just take a step back.
Go
And for
ahead.
those of you who are not familiar with Coney 2012, basically you were in like high school or middle school, and you would have a group come in, and they would come into one of your classes, whether it was a humanities class or a history class or a languages class, something like that, something to do with the arts. And they would be representatives of the Coney 2012 movement, and they would play a DVD, and it was called The Invisible Children, and it was a documentary of two white Americans going to Uganda and basically watching impoverished trafficked children and basically advocating for Americans to donate money and donate and volunteer and stuff like that. By either, buying bracelets that were made by the children or buying the DVD itself.
Right.
And the funds would help these impoverished children who were either soldiers for the war or trafficked. And the Ugandan leader, his name was Joseph Kony.
Yep.
And actually, years after that, I remember actually when it came out, a lot
Mhm.
of people started donating. A lot of
Yep.
classmates
I
they bought
remember.
DVDs, they bought bracelets, they did everything in their power, and they would go to different schools. I saw the
Yep.
presentation twice, actually,
Yeah,
at
same.
two
I did
different
too.
schools. And years later, it turns out that it was a freaking scam. That the two people who made the video, who made the
Mhm.
Invisible Children,
Yeah.
were keeping that money and not even giving it to the
Wha-
Ugandan
Oh, I think I
children.
remember hearing about this.
And then also, to make matters worse,
Mhm.
there were actual Ugandans saying Joseph Kony died like 30 years ago. Like, how is there a Ugandan warlord right now if he died 20, 30 years ago? So there was just a lot of controversy behind the validity of the
Mhm.
story they were telling along the money trails of where the money was going. So
Mhm.
that actually blew up in a lot of people's faces, especially people who donated big bucks to it. But besides being a controversy, it was a huge campaign that was almost impossible to skip if you were a part of
Mhm.
the YouTube world in the early 2010s.
Yeah, that's wild. Now, I think they were able to eventually prove that Coney is still alive.
Mm,
I don't think that he's
really?
dead. I do remember the aftermath of the filmmakers who kind of who did that. Although there were, I think, some people who actually did eventually try and go the straight route, but they were, I think, eventually able to confirm that Coney is alive, and to this day he is actually still at large.
Really? Okay.
He's never been caught, and I don't think the campaign really had much to do. And I think because of all the controversy around it, it didn't have the impact that they were looking for exactly, from what I remember.
Yeah, well, from that, but I also had people confirming that Coney 2012 was a campaign used for money because Joseph
Oh
Coney
no.
didn't he existed years before that. Whether or not it's the same Joseph Coney that they were trying to,
Mhm.
talk about, I don't know. That's obviously left up to speculation. But the fact that it created a controversy after something
Yeah.
that seemed seemingly innocent is huge.
Yeah, that is interesting. That for sure is huge. No,
Yeah.
great fun facts and trivia section, my friend. I think it was great. Even though I know we had very little, we had a lot of overlapping, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I still think it was fun. It's still
Yeah.
good, and I learned a lot. So that's the whole
Yeah.
goal
Me
of it.
too. Me too. Me too.
All right, so on to these last few segments. The one thing I notice is that when it comes to YouTube videos, one of the things is that early viral hits, especially, excuse me, often, like you said, felt like inside jokes that the internet was kind of all in on at the time. And the biggest one I can remember from that time, I don't know about you, is the Rick roll. That was the biggest
Oh, of
one.
course. Oh man.
I mean,
Being rickrolled.
the Rick rolling is what started the whole online campaign prank campaign thingy, well, that's not a campaign, but you know what I
Mm,
mean, like where people came up with things that they would do online, or things they would send, or videos they
mhm.
would link off to, and stuff like that. So
I can't tell you the amount of times that I looked up a full movie and then it was just 2 hours worth of, or like however much time of a Rickroll. It was like the
oh yeah.
MGM logo and then like the music to start with the production companies and then never gonna give you. And
Yep.
I'm, oh man, come on.
I
Don't waste
mean,
my time.
that video became huge just because of
Huge.
this internet prank. And I'm gonna be honest, it partially, not fully, because I had already been listening to 80s music, but it kind of reinvigorated my love for 80s music, really.
Really?
Because for a while there, I started going off on a path because the thing is that, yeah, I bought that Only Dance 80s CD, but I was only looking for specific songs. And then I started getting more as I got into middle school into like the 60s with like bands like the Beatles, the Who, the Rolling Stones. And so I kind of, excuse me, ignored this whole other side of music. And really, when the Rick rolling started happening, it kind of, I realized that this is an 80s song because I'm like, the video looks dated. And then the next thing you know, I go on down a whole 80s rabbit hole. And let's be real, you don't ever really come out of an 80s rabbit hole unscathed. Because you always find stuff that is amazing and you always end up coming out with more than you went in bargaining for.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
Um, the Rick Rolled video introduced me to that song,
same.
so I would say it definitely added to my knowledge, the prior knowledge that I had, the very little prior knowledge I had about
Mhm.
80s music. But I actually did really enjoy this song. I just did not enjoy getting Rick Rolled.
Yeah, same. I actually have the song on my phone. I listen to it all the time,
Yeah.
which is funny. But and it also exposed me to Rick Astley as an artist as
Mm.
well. And I realized, my gosh, this guy actually has some good songs, and I have more now. I have him on my Spotify and everything. Like I love his music, and but
So, oh,
yes,
so I was gonna ask. So was the Rick Rolled an inside joke within like you and a friend group?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
And the reason being was because Rickroll, um, when we would look at kind of inside jokes with like our friends and stuff, I mean, it was the thing that we were all doing, to each other.
Mhm.
And it wasn't just the typical, hey, check this video out. Sometimes we would do it in the sense of like, oh man, like I'm trying to put together this thing. Oh, hey, here's a video here on how to do it. Here you go. So we would do it that way too. So it wasn't just always a straightforward like, hey, click on this, check it out. It
Yeah.
wasn't ever just that. It was always, we were always finding creative ways to get creative with it as well.
I
So
love that.
so yeah, so it was that, or else we would be like, it'd be like, hey, we're talking about like a video. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, no, here's the video right here, and then it would link off to the Rickroll. So that's how we kind of did that as well. So it
Okay,
wasn't
okay.
always just the straightforward check this video out thing.
I see. I never got rickrolled by friends, but I got rickrolled by strangers, and not directly. Like I said, I would look something up, like a movie part or something like that, and then it would be Rick Astley.
Yeah.
But
And this
yeah.
is before the era when you would get a message that say, "Hey, check this video out," and now you click it and you download a virus,
Yep.
and
Phishing
that,
scams,
oh,
yep.
yeah, phishing scams. This was before. I mean, phishing scams are always there, but this is before they really took off,
Before they
So,
really took off, yeah.
into that thing. But oh man, so do you ever had did you have any of those kind of things ever?
I did. I actually had a few. I had the neon cat that na 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 na. We would sing that
Uh,
along with, I can't remember his name, but it was a very crazy guy who was very passionate about Britney Spears, and he did
mhm.
I think his name was Chris something, and he did a vlog video of him crying, yelling, "Leave Britney alone." That was
Okay,
one of my favorite things
that's
too,
awesome.
because he would just say it in a very flamboyant voice, and
Mhm.
because unfortunately at the time we loved watching people um, crack, for lack of a better word. It was really funny seeing someone break down for Britney Spears, because
Oh
this was
yeah.
right after she like shaved her head and like,
Oh right. I remember.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I was a big fan of Shane Dawson, so I would always quote with my
Oh
friends like
my
"Shanae," stuff
God.
like that. And
Before
then
he went crazy, in my
yeah,
opinion,
yeah.
at least. But
No,
I
yeah, I mean,
mean,
I stopped watching him in like 2013, so
mhm,
I'm not really caught up with what crazy he turned into. So
mhm.
I'm sort of glad that I sort of left him in the vault of my memories.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
he went down an interesting rabbit hole. I'll say that for sure. But I mean, I
that's
early
unfortunate.
Shane Dawson, I thought was awesome too, for sure.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
then lastly, hot banana stud quotes, uh something like "Shut up, Karen," stuff like that.
Oh, shut up, Karen. Yeah.
We loved quoting hot banana studs. So
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. I remember that. I'm trying to think if I had any like actual like inside joke where like we would be quoting or saying a lot of the stuff from the video. I think obviously when me and my friends got into Smosh, sometimes we would say we always would do the shut up for the beginning of their
Yeah.
videos. We would always do
Shut
that.
up.
Yeah, we would always do that.
I
I
like
know it.
that.
I know another one that I can think of off the top of my head was sometimes we'd watch a lot of prank videos like I said, and whatnot. And I remember there was one time. Okay, so this was the only time that we ever did a prank in a store was we were inspired. Well, I shouldn't say. Okay, screw it. We were inspired by a YouTuber who would go into Walmart and they would, you know how people act when they're in Walmart sometimes.
Hmm.
And we ended up getting a CD. I don't know if I've talked about this story on here before, but if I did, you're getting the expanded version of this. So basically, we burned onto a CD the Never Gonna Give You Up, and our goal was we were gonna rickroll Walmart in the middle of day while tons of people are shopping. We were gonna rickroll Walmart. And we had this CD. It was me and a couple friends, and we end up going to the Walmart. But what we did is we put about 30 seconds to about a minute of dead air so we could make a getaway. And we put it on, and I don't know if you remember this in Walmart. There were the stereos that were
Yeah,
there,
I do.
and we filmed the whole thing, and it was on my buddy's channel. And the reason that this became kind of an inside joke is because we kept trying to figure out new places we could rickroll, all because we saw this one video of this other person do something similar.
Oh,
So
okay,
that's where I'm
okay.
leading into the inside joke part. So the reason I had to kind of build that up a little bit, but it became kind of an inside joke just because we were starting to copy some of the things we saw in YouTube videos. And then I think as around that time I started after all that happened, I started realizing, you know what? I'm not really about this whole thing anymore. I'm gonna kind of distance myself from this side of YouTube. So that's maybe
Okay.
the closest thing I got to an inside joke aside from that, but or else maybe like the shut up or stuff like that. But really, I think
Mm,
I was more just a consumer of YouTube, to be honest. I think I was
yeah.
more just that kind of person. But no, it's great when you can have these like little side side jokes that only you and your friends understand just from a lot of the YouTube videos that you watch.
For sure, for sure. Do you remember the funniest video you watched?
Oh my gosh, I could tell you about a million of them, but I can tell you the funniest one for sure. I've been
Okay.
waiting to talk about this, and I'm going to warn you all, this is going to be a bit of an unhinged discussion point because I'm going to go off the cuff a little bit, and it's going to get into some iffy territory, but it's going to stay clean, I promise. So, anyhow, the video was called, and it was a dumb video. I'm going to tell you right now, it was a dumb video. It was called OMG. I can't believe I'm about to say this. It was called OMG Are Those Condoms? That's literally what the video was called. Now, before you all freak
Really?
out, I'm going to explain what this was so you all don't think I was into some weird stuff as a kid. So basically, there are these teenagers and they basically buy this big pack of Trojan condoms in the car, and the next thing you know, you can tell they're teenagers, and they start getting all iffy and weird about. They're not actually going to use them. They're going to use them probably for like pranks or like make a water balloon or something like that. And the reason it was funny to me is because afterwards, it's revealed that these guys snuck out of their parents' house and they're getting a call on their phone and they're trying to figure out how they're gonna hide, how they're gonna do this. And they're like, hide it, hide it, hide it, go, go, go. No, come on, man, what are you doing? And then they're trying to race home. And then the next thing you know, they're getting in trouble because they snuck out. And the reason it was so funny is because I was only about 10 years old when I saw this. For me, that was something that was funny. I don't know if I would have laughed at it now, but for me, it was just kind of a funny video.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
I
I don't
know.
think I'm not familiar with that video actually.
No, it wasn't a popular video at all. It was just something I stumbled
Mm,
upon one day just scrolling on YouTube because you could find anything at certain times.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't think I can think of probably like a funniest video, but the funniest YouTubers or YouTube channels that I followed were, as I mentioned, Shane Dawson, Smosh, Hot Banana Stud, the Robot Chicken Adult Swim channel, the Whitest Kids You Know,
Oh, the
Ray.
whitest kid you know was unhinged.
Yeah, I'm gonna grape you.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm gonna grape
I'm the
you.
grapist, and he's
Yeah,
in a suit of grapes.
I remember. I remember.
Ray William Johnson, and then Niga Higa, and
Higa Higa.
bad lip reading
Bad
too.
lip reading. Yep, 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 yep. I remember
Yeah.
all of those. Another one I can probably think of off the top of my head was probably a lot of the YouTube poops I watched. Those were some of the funniest videos I remember.
Okay.
And
Okay.
of course, I'll have to send you some just because a lot of them are unhinged,
Yeah.
especially the ones that deal with kid shows, because it's stuff you wouldn't expect to hear or see in a kid show, but like people pulled
Yeah.
some crazy stuff, let's just say. So I always remember those. But the first one, I think the reason that video was so funny wasn't even because of the fact that oh, there's condoms in the video or anything. It was mostly because of the chaos of when they get the phone call and realize, and then you realize, oh shoot, they snuck out and now they're in trouble.
Yeah.
That
No,
was that was the part that was more funny than the
I
first
see. Okay, I see. I see.
part. Mhm. So yeah, for sure. One other thing I was gonna ask you is, were you a fan of any like vloggers?
No, unfortunately, no.
Fair enough. I wasn't either really. I guess maybe I watched the occasional vlog here and there, but I don't know. I'm not really into vlog content. That's just me, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't really think I just don't think it's something that I looked for, and even to
Mhm.
this day I don't really look for it either. I'm not really interested in other people's lives, so I
Same, yeah.
it's hard for me to want to sit down. And I know my partner uh
Mhm.
they enjoy watching videos of people talking like, "Oh, hi guys, today I went to the grocery store and I did and that just bores me. But to each
Right,
their
right,
own,
right.
obviously.
No, exactly. No, I hear that absolutely for sure. I think the closest thing I got into with vloggers was maybe other channels that I watched, like I was saying earlier, Lunchtime with Smosh, which was always fun because the thing with
Yeah,
them was that it was basically they would go out, they would buy food, and then they come home and then they just kind of vlog it. They'd be silly, stuff like that.
I see.
Some of them were absolutely hilarious. There was one where they actually grilled food, and the video title of it was literally "We Eat Wieners." That was literally the title of the video. Lunchtime with Smosh, we eat wieners.
That's
Um,
funny.
even though one of them had a hamburger, and another one of my favorites was when they did the 100th episode of Lunchtime with Smosh, they got a pizza, and instead of lighting candles on like a birthday cake, they put it on the pizza. So um just stuff like that I think was the only vlog kind of stuff I watched, and it was again because it was
Hmm.
offshoots of YouTubers I already liked.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see myself if, say, like a YouTuber that I really like is like, "Hey guys, I have an update video on this problem I've been having," and then they break character for like a couple of minutes. I don't mind that, but like I don't
Mhm.
look for um like bedroom vloggers who are only
Same.
bedroom vloggers.
Exactly. I'm kind of the same way. Like I had friends who were obsessed with like CTFX when they were big. Yeah, exactly.
I don't
You
know
don't
who
need,
that is.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They were like one of the first YouTube like couples that started vlogging.
Okay.
They've divorced since. So
Oh, wow.
right, I know it's shocking, but yeah, no, ever since they divorced, and so that's how their channel kind of went down. And a lot of the prank channels I noticed, like PvP, a lot of prank channels either ended up with the couple breaking up or
Hmm.
the couple choosing to stop pranks because
Yeah,
of how much of a toll it kind of takes. And I think that's also
absolutely.
when I started to shift away from the more immature prank things to
Yeah.
actual content, if that makes sense, like going
Oh,
back to,
yeah.
actual content creators,
Yeah.
um, was kind of seeing that and realizing that it takes a toll on people, and it gets to a point where, like, even though nothing happened, there was no cheating, no nothing going on, it gets to a point where not only it's exhausting, but now you can't even really have a normal life with your partner?
Yeah, yeah, everything's so focused on the relationship that you guys have established through the camera,
Yeah.
and you feel like you have to it's more of a chore to have alone time with your partner because like, oh, well, is there a camera looking at me right now?
Yep.
Is there a hidden camera somewhere? Like, I don't know.
And let's be real, pranks get exhausting after a while sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing them on a consistent basis.
And
And
then Prank versus Prank was doing like 2 pranks a week too.
they were doing 2 pranks a week, and that's when people started even questioning, are they faking their pranks? I don't know if you
And then
remember
at
when that happened.
and then at one point, are they faking their relationship just because of how, toxic they would be? It
And
was
then
like, what
yeah,
was his name? His name was Joey or something like that. And
Jesse.
then Jesse, that's what it is. And then his girlfriend was blonde. I just can't remember her
I know
name.
who you're talking about. It was Jesse and
I can't
I'm trying
remember.
to remember. Gina and Jesse. That was
Gene, oh
what it
yeah, because
was.
they have New Jersey accents.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jesse
So
and Gina.
no, they were the first like couple prank channel that really
They
popped
were.
off because
They
I mean
really
before
were.
then you had prank channels with like a bunch of dudes like doing a bunch of college frat
Hmm.
stuff or doing a bunch of crazy stuff that was fun to watch,
Hmm.
but they were the first like actual like couple that pranked each
Yeah.
other on a consistent basis. And I remember then all that came out, and then eventually the video comes out saying we need to talk, and then that was the breakup video.
Oh, yeah. See, I only found out they broke up through BuzzFeed back when BuzzFeed was relevant, because I
Yeah.
stopped watching them in like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, I was kind of the same era when I stopped watching as well. What ended up happening was the way I found out was because I had still been subscribed to them, that video came up in my feed, and
That makes
I
sense.
hadn't seen them in so long. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I click on it. And the thing is they never explicitly said, "Oh, we're breaking up." They said we're taking a break, and it was basically a break they just never came back from.
Ah, okay.
And
Well,
I
that's
think
unfortunate.
yeah, and stuff like that. So that's one other thing I noticed about a lot of those kind of YouTubers as well.
Mm-hmm.
But coming to the next one, I don't remember any keeping up with any YouTube drama. I don't know about you. But I always kind of stayed away from like all the crazy stuff that was going on or things that those inside YouTubers were making. Like, do you know about this YouTuber and their newest controversy? Stuff you hear now almost on a
Mm. On a
consistent
daily.
daily basis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But the closest thing I can remember was when Smosh broke up and when Anthony
Mm-hmm.
left Smosh. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember that, but that was
Yeah, and then Anthony started his own YouTube channel, which I watched because he started interviewing people.
I Spent a Day with series.
Yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly, and I liked that series, just
Yeah.
because he included some of his comedy along with like real life people talking about situations and
Mhm.
themes that I wasn't aware of.
And the thing I really liked about him too was he was very unbiased. He didn't
Yeah,
necessarily say, "Oh, I'm not going to have you on because of this." He actually literally had every kind of, group identity people
yeah,
on his channel. And he
exactly.
came from it at a very unbiased, kind of view, and he was like, "I want to
Yeah.
hear from you, which is why I'm going to give you a platform to speak on."
Well, he was trying to find a middle ground for everything, and he would purposely get controversial figures or community
That too.
participants, and have us as viewers sort of humanize them. And
Mhm.
I definitely appreciated that. But
For sure.
drama, I never
Mhm.
kept up with drama, but I would watch a video every now and then that was like, I can't believe they did this or whatever. and
Yeah.
and two that and I've only seen a couple of them, but two of the ones that I remember the most, just because I didn't watch their channels, but the controversy was pretty messed up, so I was like a little
Mhm.
bit taken aback, so I had
Yeah.
to watch the catch up video, or like the video explaining the controversy. Was when Logan Paul did that thing that he did in that
Oh, the woods.
forest. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And then, which by the way, I am a fan of his when it comes to his WWE, the Maverick persona.
Okay.
But besides that, probably I didn't watch this channel, but it was a family YouTube channel.
Mhm.
I don't know what they're called, and I don't really know the content they would do, but I know that
Mhm.
it was like vlogging about like lifestyle, and this woman, was talking about like how perfect her family is, where she would like talk about and be honest about her family, but then it turns out she was extremely abusive, and it
Mm.
turns out that like the kids like slept in the basement or something like that. I can't
Oh, I
remember
think I
all of it.
remember this. I remember this now. Yes, yes, yes. It made
Yeah.
news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually, I think that the YouTube audience on the comment section was constantly calling her out, like, "Hey, that's weird. Why does your son look depressed? Like, why
Yeah.
did you just yell at your kid?"
Yep,
It
yep,
was
yep.
an investigation done by the community, and then later, I think, was brought onto a legal platform.
Mhm.
But those are pretty much the only two dramas that I know about, and even then, I know very little about them.
Yeah, same. I never really kept up with a lot of drama. I never really wanted, this is gonna sound really weird. I never really wanted to know my favorite YouTubers. I mean, yeah, it was fun to
That's
watch their
fair.
content, but I never
Yeah,
really wanted to know about their personal life. I never really cared what they
yeah,
did, behind closed doors. It's like that's
yeah,
you. As long as you're not some crazy serial killer or you're not somebody doing some crazy stuff, then
yeah,
we're cool. But
yeah.
otherwise, yeah, the only one I remember is when Anthony left Smosh, and that was because
Mhm.
that was a huge thing. And now he's back. So that's really
Interesting.
cool. And well, the reason he's back actually is because Anthony and Ian actually purchased Smosh for themselves.
They repurchased Smosh?
They repurchased Smosh, and
Good, because it was
they now
crap
no,
for
it's
so
because
many years.
well, what happened was around the mid I think 2000s, they got purchased by a company called I think it was Delphi Media, and they were under them, and it was bad viewership, bad ownership, and Anthony really wasn't getting able to produce the ideas he really wanted. And at the same time, he and Anthony were kind of having a bit of falling out in their own friendship.
Oh,
And
Ian and
so,
Anthony then?
yeah, Ian and
Okay,
Anthony. And I think a lot of it was because, when you're young and you're, making these videos and stuff, you really don't stop to consider, how your friends are feeling, how things are going, really kind of doing the mature work
for
and
sure.
rather thinking, kind of just thinking in for lack of a better term, I guess guy mode where you're just like trying to make the cool video and anything of that nature is just uncool and we don't talk about really and stuff like that. And again, they were working all the time. They never really got to have that sit down. So that kind of happened. And so that all kind of factored into Anthony leaving. Delphi gets, I think they went bankrupt or something crazy happened. And then it left Smosh without an owner. And so then Anthony and Ian decided, well, let's purchase it. And so now they own Smosh themselves.
Whoa,
So,
okay, okay.
so the henceforth why Anthony's back, and they're kind of going back to that old style of doing things, while they still have
Good,
things like
good,
Smosh games and all this other stuff.
good, good. That's awesome.
So yeah, absolutely. Question: if you were to go back to like the 2009 era or such, what do you think you'd be watching?
Shane Dawson for sure.
Shane Dawson,
Robot
nice.
Robot Chicken compilation videos, and probably,
Oh, those are gold.
yeah, probably Family Guy compilation videos as well.
Yes. Yes. I remember that's actually where I first was able to watch a lot of Family Guy because I loved watching
Me
Family Guy,
too.
but I never had access to full episodes. But
Yeah.
YouTube, to this day, still, they have a million compilations of all the craziest moments
Of everything,
of
yeah,
everything.
and of like every season, and I could just sit there like with my food and then just watch all the
Mhm.
compilations. It was so funny.
Oh, yeah. And the thing
Um,
with Family Guy, too, is nobody's safe. It doesn't matter who you are,
nope.
nobody is safe from jokes,
Yeah,
from puns, all this other stuff. Yeah, no, that's the thing I love about Family Guy, and the thing I love about these compilations is it's always those moments, the moments that make you laugh. So
yeah,
sometimes I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Family Guy episodes, but sometimes you have to sit through some boring parts of it just to get your favorite parts, and then here you can just watch all your favorite parts in one.
yeah. No, one of my favorite videos was watching the Consuela Family Guy videos, and then
Yes.
also the Mexican lawyer. Siete, 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 siete,
Siete,
siete,
siete,
siete,
siete,
siete.
siete, siete. Yes, I remember that was hilarious. One of my favorite moments from Family Guy was the "I need a Jew," and at being Jewish myself, I find that absolutely funny. I still personally don't get a lot of the controversy around that. I feel like it's one of the more tamer jokes and songs
That's
compared
funny.
compared to like a lot of the other stuff they've done.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
apparently that was the most controversial one to where Fox wouldn't even air the episode, which I thought was wild. Coming from somebody who is Jewish. in that regard. I just thought, but that was my favorite, and that's the one that I think I killed the replay button on when I was getting into Family Guy content on YouTube.
That's funny. Well, actually, let me look it up because I think it was actually Cinco Cinco Cinco.
Oh, Cinco Cinco Cinco. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's five. It's the one with five. Never mind. Sorry, not
Yes.
siete. Cinco. Yeah.
Cinco, Cinco, Cinco. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, siete, siete. I thought it was Cinco, but okay. But we rectified that for sure. And I think me, I'd be watching just probably a lot of YouTube poops and prank videos, to be honest. That's what I'd be watching
Yes.
because, again, they were fun. And again, I always look for prank videos that are going to make not only me laugh, but are going to make everyone else laugh. Stuff that's going to actually be funny, not stuff that's inhumane or like you said, disgusting or anything in that
Yeah.
realm. Something that's actually going to be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Instead of going in and trashing a store or going and like you said, being unhygienic with the phones, stuff like that, where
Yes. Yes.
we're not, stuff like that, but stuff that was actually funny, like maybe tricking your buddy into thinking something is different, maybe putting a little extra chili in their food, stuff like that, stuff that's
Yeah.
relatively harmless, although I would not advise putting chili in their stuff if they're very sensitive or allergic, but
Hmm.
still I think if you know the person and you know it's gonna in the end it's gonna all be good, go for it. I think it's whatnot. But again, I think that's kind of where I come from. YouTube poops, I obviously some of the best things. I gotta send you some. I'm surprised you never heard of YouTube poops.
No, no, no. Well, the name itself is also a little off-putting, so not sure I would have typed that in.
It is a little, but trust me, it's a little. Some of them are a little bit more unhinged than others, but there's a little bit of middle ground for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. And that definitely is an era of old YouTube that I happen to miss, but I'm glad that you'll be sending videos my way. But going off of that note,
Yep.
what do you wish could be the same from old YouTube compared to modern YouTube? What do you think, or what do you hope or wish would have the same effect as old YouTube?
I think, to be honest with you, if I could really go back and think about what do I want from old YouTube, that I would want now in the modern age is probably I kind of wish we still had video responses. I know they weren't huge,
Mm,
I know they weren't big, but I feel like it was a fun way to engage with a creator, and I feel like it was a
mm,
creative way. Obviously, I understand with bigger channels like PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, that would never be a feasible option because so many
mm.
people would be wanting to send in video responses.
True.
But
Yeah.
for smaller YouTubers, for people who do tutorial stuff like that, it's just kind of a nice way to say kudos and be able to say it on video. And I feel like that's what YouTube's always been about. And
The
so that's kind of why I
community.
wish we had that. So yeah, I wish there was a lot more community rather than just making it almost like another social media platforming.
Yeah.
Whereas now the community very much is like post this to your status, you have this, and it's not even so much just like, where you can engage and be like great content, good stuff and whatnot. And now it's very much kind of like, hey, this is what I did yesterday. And now you don't even have to post a video to engage with your community, which is it's nice, but at the same time, it feels very formulaic, like Instagram and a
Yeah.
lot of these other ones. So I just kind of
Yeah.
wish they did something original like that again.
Yeah, I actually on my answer I was going to say monetization, but now that you expanded on your
Mhm.
video response, I think I would want to say that too, just because I missed that era.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to, or at least I didn't participate in it. I think it'd be cool to see what it was like, and obviously, like you were saying, it's a way to bond and connect and get to know your fans and
Hmm.
also get to know your content creator. And I think
Hmm.
that that's definitely necessary in this day and age where
Yeah.
it it feels very hierarchical, and it's like, oh, you're the creator and I'm just a little peasant who's liking and commenting.
Right.
It
Right.
like bridges that gap and makes it more human.
Exactly. No, 100%. I
Yeah.
exactly hear where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I just feel that, the biggest thing is that, I definitely say I hear where you're going to go with monetization as well. And whatnot. But I think nowadays, you have a lot easier ways to monetize, if you know what I mean. And,
Yeah.
you only have two requirements, and one, that's to have 1,000 subscribers, and two, I think it's to have, was it 50,000 hours of
views or
viewing or
something.
something like that.
Yeah,
And as
something
long
like
as you
that.
make those two, you can easily monetize. Whereas back in the day, you had to be invited to monetize your content,
Yeah.
or you had to go through sponsors like Machinima. You like if you did gaming content,
Oh, okay.
you had to go through them because the thing is that you cannot monetize copyrighted material. Obviously, rightfully
Yeah,
so. But
true.
what Machinima would do is like if you wanted to be a video game creator and you still wanted to make money that way, what they would do is they would be kind of the branch between you and the company. And basically, what would happen is your video could get monetized, you could still make some money, but then they would take a certain percentage of that, and then they'd keep a certain percentage, and then another percentage would go to the actual company that
Yeah,
made.
okay.
But you really had to be big, and you really had to be something to be partnered with them, like to get a sponsorship through them. Like they did not just give those
Oh.
out.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
hmm
Yeah,
so
the point that I brought for monetization was more like um I guess it's more of the focus to not monetize, like if people make a
sure.
YouTube
Oh,
channel
okay.
and want to monetize,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
the intention already isn't there.
Yeah.
You should want to make a YouTube channel so that you have something to offer people, not so that you
Yep.
can make money. Like
Yes.
that was not the intention YouTube was created for,
No.
at least what it seemed like to me. So I guess
Mhm.
that's to expand on my point on monetization.
Okay.
That's what I meant, because I don't mind people getting monetized, but I
Same.
hope I would want to bring back the intent of creation and not just for the sake of clout or paying bills and stuff.
Exactly. And I think that's one thing a lot of people miss when they want to become YouTubers or they want to get big is a lot of YouTubers who started like that, they never got into it because of the rewards and the money. They got into it because they
Hmm.
wanted to create content. And with that good
Exactly.
content, they ended up being able to turn it into something that makes money. But now
Exactly.
you have a lot of people who are trying to be Mr. Beast wannabes, and
Hmm.
then now you have people who are trying to, follow in his same style. Like I donated this much money, I did all this, I did that.
Hmm.
When really the reason it works so well for Mr. Beast is because he built a brand for himself, really. And the thing is, he
Yeah.
wasn't even trying to get paid for it originally. He was just
Yeah.
doing crazy, stupid stuff.
But yeah, he started off doing Minecraft gameplay videos, and then he started doing like bedroom vlogging. And from there, that like 10 years later is when he became Mr. Beast. People just think, "Oh, I'm going to make a YouTube channel right now and I'm
Hmm.
going to start getting paid." Like no, it takes years upon years upon years to get established, to get a
Hmm.
fan base, and a lot of hard work. And I'm not giving all
Hmm.
this credit to Mr. Beast. I'm getting
Hmm.
giving credit to every content creator
Yeah.
who has made it past like the 5 year mark, getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views and subscribers and stuff. It's a lot of work. And a lot of people just think, oh, I'm just going to upload a video here and there, and then I'm going to be
Hmm.
boom, the next Justin Bieber or whatever.
Yeah, and really the thing is not only did Mr. Beast build for years and years, but he had a lot of niche content that was out
Hmm.
before he did that. There's videos where he
Yeah.
read the entire dictionary in one sitting. There's
Really,
one
that's
where
funny.
there's one where I guess he said Logan Paul like 50,000 times. It took him over, I think, like 6, 12, 16 to 15 hours to do something
Whoa.
like that. And,
What the
and
heck?
he's just hitting his computer, Logan Paul, Logan Paul, Logan Paul. And you can hear like he's getting tired. And then finally, when he's done, he's like, oh, thank you. We did it. All right, I'm going to sleep, stuff like that. So he had
That's
a lot
funny.
of niche content too that kind of caught people's attention. And then he started just doing the whole charity thing. And then that kind of evolved into the whole thing where he would do games with his friends. And then that
Challenges and
evolved.
stuff.
Yeah. And then that evolved into what he is now with like these massive challenges,
Yeah.
inviting subscribers, inviting celebrities, all this other
Yeah.
crazy stuff. So
No,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. It's a
but
lot of years of work that, people overlook.
absolutely 100%. So, I guess the next question I have for you is how do you expect YouTube to change really in the next coming years?
Um, Actually, I realize that I pretty much answered that. Monetization.
You did. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm just gonna go back to that and say monetization, just because that's pretty much what I found most of my favorite YouTubers started to
Hmm.
do, is really rely on the content that sells, and that
Hmm.
makes me sad. And also when hearing, new YouTubers, they're like, oh well, I saw that so and so got famous, blah blah blah, and it's
Yeah.
like the intent
Right, right.
and not putting monetization at the forefront of why you create. I think that
Yeah.
is how I hope it changes in the next few years.
100%. I think for me, it'd be more, I want to see a lot more original content, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I feel like a lot of things are either what's formulaic or what's trending,
Mhm.
and then people
Mhm.
jump on that bandwagon.
100%.
And I think
Kill the algorithm.
yes, kill the algorithm. I want to see more original content. One of the things I love on YouTube are filmmakers, people who are having a hard time making it, trying to get into the industry and they have talent, but because there's so many roadblocks and such, they're either not getting recognized or they're not being seen as being industry worthy. And so they end up going to YouTube and the next thing you know, they make some of the best content out there, or they end up turning into maybe even daily vloggers or even just daily storytellers. They're not even really vlogging, but they're just telling a story by using their
Yeah.
cameras, setting it up, going through their day. But instead of vlogging, like, hey guys, so today we're doing this, they're actually doing it in a cinematic way. And I think that that's
Oh,
cool, and stuff like that. So
that is cool.
I'm kind of looking for more content like that.
Mm.
My mom has this one YouTuber she really likes to watch. His name is Trout and Coffee. And basically, he kind of is like, he's kind of an outdoorsy kind of person and a very kind of remote person and a bit of an old soul. And all of his stuff is like, he tells like little stories and you would think they'd be vlog like, but they're cinematic like because he was actually an editor at one point and a cinematographer.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so a lot of his content is a lot more styled like that. And I think that that's really cool than just the simple, hey guys, so today we're going to go down to the store. Okay, come with me, that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I just kind
yeah,
of hope for maybe stuff more like that. I think
yeah.
it's kind of a cool twist on it. And I think more so it feels more original than someone
It's
just,
unique.
it's unique rather than just somebody picking up their phone.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
yeah. And, I guess the last thing that I'll ask is how long do you think YouTube will last? You think it'll last a few more generations, a few millenniums, maybe who knows? What are your thoughts on that?
I hope it lasts, but I hope it changes because right now, what I'm seeing when it
Hmm.
comes to especially the new generation, a lot of parents are just plopping their kid in front of a phone or an iPhone and then
Hmm.
playing like Cocomelon on repeat on YouTube,
Yeah,
or they're playing like I mean, I'm giving it to the parents and to the people who enjoy watching content for the sake of,
sure.
enjoyment, but, like, I fear for the future when it comes to the future generation's reliance onto YouTube, and this is sort of where that warning that I was talking about at the beginning of the video is
Right.
gonna come into play, just because of I'm not a YouTube addict. I can spend weeks or months
Hmm.
not even watching YouTube. When I
Sure.
said that I watched it every day, that was an over-exaggeration, but also not totally far from the truth because I do watch videos,
Hmm.
whenever I can. But there are people who sit down to have a meal and need a screen in front of them playing a YouTube video.
Yeah.
There are people who require, that
Right.
short form content in order to get through their
Hmm.
day because they can't stand a few minutes of silence.
Right. Right.
There are
Right.
people who plop their kid in front of YouTube for hours for the sake of not getting not being a present babysitter or whatever, you know. Um, I think YouTube will last, but it also has to come with a big precaution, the state of our children, the state of our own mental
Hmm.
health, things like that. I have friends, or not necessarily friends, but acquaintances that obviously rely on YouTube for everything, but also wake up and then start watching a YouTube video or
Right.
go to
Right. Right.
sleep to watching a YouTube video. And that's fine, but everything in moderation. So I hope that if it does last, and I do see it lasting, that it changes significantly, especially how we view it.
Right. Right.
We were talking not that long ago about how before the age of streaming, we had to wait for content. And
Right.
I would really love that to come back to YouTube, to where
Sure.
content creators weren't forced to make 50 videos a week and
Hmm.
you weren't forced to go watch YouTube shorts to see something, or you weren't, like bring
Yeah.
it back to the basics, but also find a middle ground to where you're not obsessing over YouTube again.
100%. I absolutely agree with you. I definitely think that a lot of people, I think YouTube is sometimes it falls in the category of too much of a good thing is a bad thing, very much so.
Exactly,
And
exactly. Perfectly said.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I know it might sound hypocritical because we talk about how the TV was our babysitter and stuff, but you have to
Mhm.
understand the content we watched as kids not only was educational and beneficial, but you also have to understand too, it wasn't just a whole lot of videos at the seat of our hands. We still had to wait for new shows. We were still getting exposed to a lot of new things rather than just watching a 3 hour compilation of, like you said, Kokomo or something of that nature. And I think really at the end of the day is like, yeah, you could say that, oh, you guys are just, saying the same thing. But it's like you got to also realize it was a different time, place. And also you have to realize the thing with YouTube is so algorithmic based, and because it has the short thing, it's killing attention spans, like you said in the verse of like, okay, like people are needing YouTube just to get through their day or just to,
Yeah.
when they want to go, get a meal or something, they have to watch YouTube. Whereas it's like, it's kind of nice when you can just sit down and be able to do things. And also, like you said,
Sit
with
with your
content,
thoughts.
sit with your thoughts. Yeah. And I think the other thing with content creators is oftentimes some of the best work requires time to create and make rather than just having to flush it out real quick. I'll even use the example. Look at what happened to Marvel when they were trying to release 3 movies a year, or Star
Hmm.
Wars when they were
They're
trying to
still
release one
doing
every
that.
year,
Yeah.
and they're still doing that. But you look at filmmakers, like now I'm going to come back to a couple of these people I talked at the beginning of the episode. Quentin Tarantino, Paul Thomas Anderson, Martin Scorsese. They take years to make their content because they always want to refine it and make it good. That's why
Yeah.
we were waiting between 2 to 5 years for the next Tarantino film. We're waiting,
Hmm.
this much time because they're actually taking time for it rather than trying to rush it out because
Yeah.
of an algorithm or because of financials, which is where I feel like YouTube is also heading. It's heading
Yeah.
in that same direction. And in fact, it's already there. And like you said, I
Yeah.
agree because I feel like with that, we lose two things. The first thing we lose is our attention spans, but
Hmm.
secondly, we kind of lose a bit of common dignity because now we
Yeah.
want everything kind of just right there and then, and we know we can have it. But sometimes the best things in life come just from a little bit of patience. What's the
Yeah.
virtue?
Exactly.
Good things
Yes.
come to
Yes.
those who wait. I remember, yeah, I had to wait maybe a few weeks for the new Smosh video, but that gave me time to go back and watch all the old content. And then
Yeah.
it gave me hype. And then when that new one dropped, boom, there I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was fun and it was an event,
It was an event. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
it wasn't oh, I'll expect the new video tomorrow or the day after or even later this afternoon. Who knows?
Yeah.
And so
Like,
I agree.
also when it comes to like I do understand that YouTube right now there's a lot of educational content. I understand that
Sure.
those short form videos can be helpful and stuff, but the main difference also when alluding to how we grew up, and we were born in the late 90s.
Yeah.
To watch something, you had to be home. You
Yes.
had to have TV time, or if your parents allowed it, you had to have them turn on the
Mm.
TV and put on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
show that you wanted. Like, hey, mom, can you put on Nickelodeon? Here you go. Now, a child just picks up their iPad, or as an adult, I just take my phone. Heck, I can watch YouTube while driving on the freeway if I wanted to, because I have 24/7 access to YouTube on my phone. Whereas back in the day, you had to watch it either on Wi-Fi through your laptop
Yes.
or
Yep.
through your. And I didn't even have a laptop until I was almost an adult.
Same.
And so the only way that we could watch the things that we wanted to watch was the few hours we had in front of a TV. Now, granted, that brings issues on its own,
Yeah.
but to have a TV, basically a portable TV at your disposal at any point of the day, from the second you wake up to the second you go to sleep, that with great power comes great responsibility. And that
Sure.
requires a lot of responsibility, especially if you're a parent or if you're a young adult or if you have a developing mind, things like that.
Absolutely. And really when you really think about it, the thing is that it wasn't always at your hands like you said, like you had to be home to watch it or else, you were using the family computer to watch it. And
Mhm.
sometimes you had to earn that time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and whatnot. And you only got maybe like an hour or two if you're lucky to
Mhm.
watch all the stuff you want to watch, and then or else you went on it when nobody was home and your mom finally trusted you saying, hey, we're going to get home after you, here's the key to the house, we expect you to do these chores,
Mhm.
and when we come home we'll all have this fun thing. And sometimes that's when you realize, oh, I can watch some YouTube, I can have some fun, I can do
Mhm.
stuff like
Mhm.
that. And then you realize that it's it's very different. So
No, yeah, now like say my younger brother, he's about yeah, about 6 years
yep.
younger than me, and he has access. He had a phone at the age of like maybe 7, and
Excuse me.
having all that power at the age of 7 to be, I'm not saying that he was addicted to YouTube or anything like that,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
but say if I were a child at the age of 7 with the capabilities of mobile YouTube at any point, oh man, I would be brain dead right now. I would be,
Yeah.
for lack of a
Same.
better term, and lack of sensibility, but I would pretty much just be, I don't even know where I would be mentally,
Yeah.
just a constant reliance of stimulation.
Exactly, and I think that that's one of the biggest problems as well is the need for stimulation and the need
Mhm.
for, something here, just, something that can keep my attention and keep me kind of going through the day when really you should never
Yeah.
have to be relying on that just
Yeah.
to make it through, XYZ. But no, I
Yeah.
everything you said, I absolutely agree. I really hope that YouTube does return to some of its formulaic, not formulaic, what am I saying? Returning to some of its older
Anti
algorithms,
anti-formulaic.
anti-formulaic, yeah,
Yeah.
and relied more on the creators rather than algorithms and financials. So,
Exactly.
yep.
Exactly.
Well, my friend, I don't know about you, but I think that is another episode in the books.
Yes, yes. That brings us to the end of another amazing
Oh
episode.
man, this one was fun. This one was a lot of fun because
Yeah.
going back and remembering some of my memories from YouTube was interesting for sure. So I definitely think it was interesting and it was a lot of fun, getting to
Yeah.
remember some past memories. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, YouTube has been a part of our lives and it will probably continue to be a part of our
yep,
lives. But I'm glad that we were able to stroll down memory lane to talk about the things that sort of made us in our YouTube era. Now, that being said, YouTube stands as a living archive of human creativity and innovation, constantly evolving alongside the way we consume media. It's a place where we learn, laugh, unwind, and find inspiration in ways that feel almost limitless. For so many of us, it's more than a platform. It becomes a go to source for discovery, connection, and understanding. So the real question is, where would we be without it? Or for more walks down memory lane, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to see more of Jon and I, head over to our YouTube channel and hit that notification button. My name is Ramona,
my name is John.
and we'll catch you on the rewind.
Catch you on the rewind, folks.